U.S. military aid has helped Ukrainian forces put the brakes on Russia's advance, especially in the east of the country.
That's the BBC's Anna Oslam. Twin giant pandas have been born at a breeding center in southwestern China. It is considered a sign of progress for the country's unofficial national mascot as it struggles for survival amid a loss of its habitat. News and analysis at townhall.com. Regional airline operator ExpressJet files for bankruptcy.
The small West Coast discount airline called AHA has stopped flying after its parent company ExpressJet filed for bankruptcy protection. ExpressJet made the filing in federal bankruptcy court in Delaware. ExpressJet is blaming the difficulty of generating revenue during the pandemic, plus the high cost of jet fuel. AHA flew to about a dozen cities on the West Coast from its base in Reno, Nevada. A message on its website says AHA cannot help rebook stranded travelers. The airline says that people holding tickets for future flights should contact their credit card company for refunds. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Forecasters say parts of the European Union could face 3 more months of warmer and drier conditions as Europe weathers a major drought and has fueled forest fires, dried up rivers, and devastated crops across the continent. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to a morning without Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Hey, what? Change it back. Change it back. I had it said some idiot. I changed it to say some idiot this morning. It would have been really, really funny if it came on and said some idiot. All right. But I appreciate the respect. I do. Yes, Mixmaster Mike Winters out. You don't have to fix it, Roy. I'm just messing with you. Mixmaster Mike Winters out of studio once again today. He should be back inside of your radios tomorrow. He's always inside of our hearts, but he should be back inside of your radios tomorrow morning, back from his journey to El Paso with his lovely bride, Miss Kimberly, doing some follow-up testing with the surgeon down there at in El Paso. Just to make sure everything's shored up, everything's healing up good. And I think today is their travel back day. That was all yesterday. Today is their hey, thanks. Today is their heading back in.
Well, no, I thought it was like some prank from Tanner or something.
Oh no, I was
yesterday. So
I set it up this morning. I'm like, okay. So do you remember Charlotte's Web? So the whole point of Charlotte's Web was that every day Charlotte would weave something new into her web that the pig was.
Right.
And it was some pig. I'm trying to remember all of them. I know it was some pig, radiant, terrific.
You already beat me
some
on
terrific, radiant, wonderful thingamajig of a pig. It's in the song. You ever heard the Zuckerman's famous pig? See, this is why I think I'm autistic, because I remember stuff like this. The line of the chorus is, he's some terrific, radiant, wonderful thingamajig of a pig. So yeah, it's some pig, wonderful, radiant, and terrific, are all the things that he weaves into his. So some idiot is kind of like a tribute to, that's just what Charlotte weaved in the web about me. Some idiot. Yeah, so it's kind of an in-joke. By the way, if you're watching on ksvptv.com, that one's for you. Well, happy Wednesday, happy halfway day.
I'll be sure to write that on the board.
It should just change
every morning.
Change every morning. Terrific, but like it has to be sort of self-deprecating because like I've stopped doing the whole like fat boy thing since I lost a bunch of weight, so I don't really call myself fat anymore. But I still have to be self-deprecating just because it's what I do. So now I'm just gonna just mess with my my intelligence. I feel like that's the good wheelhouse for me. But happy Wednesday to you. Hopefully your halfway day off to a fantastic start. Beautiful day out there, actually. Fantastic morning. And shaping up to be another beautiful day around Roswell. Way we've slipped into, as I mentioned yesterday, that perfect pocket of late summer weather where it's just ideal.
Yeah.
The clouds are out and it's not too hot.
I can't tell if it like sprinkled last night or something.
It did a little bit.
Because it was like totally clear last night. And then it just, now I realize there's like puddles everywhere and it's a bit overcast, except it's kind of spotty.
It was a little spittle rain. Like I was out for a little bit last night and it was just kind of like sprinkling in areas.
Yeah.
But nothing significant. Definitely nothing like Saturday for sure. We do have some weather coming up in the forecast for the weekend, but for the rest of the week, it's looking mighty fine out there. Just a great time to get out there and soak up some of that beautiful weather. Let me give you the rundown for today's show. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we don't have a guest this hour, so I figured we would rerun the interview that Mike had on Monday with Miss Regina Smith from Loveless Regional Hospital. They had a great conversation all about, I believe, mostly about colonoscopies, colorectal cancer. So they get real in depth. Yeah.
In
depth on colon health. They really get in there. So we'll get back into that. We'll replay that interview coming up here in just a few minutes. Coming up the 8 o'clock hour, around 8:15 or so, we have scheduled representatives from Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Southeastern New Mexico. We'll see what's going on with the bigs. And, of course, there's always littles looking for bigs. So we'll chit-chat with them coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Now, here's the thing. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, we had scheduled Miss Elizabeth and from the
Miss Elizabeth.
Thank you for getting that reference. From the city of Roswell, from the Roswell Convention and Civic Center, and joining her was also going to be Mickey Cruz to discuss the event that was happening this weekend, the Cumbia Tacos and Tequila Festival, but that has been postponed until December. So I'm not sure if Miss Elizabeth is going to come in and do that interview at this point. I hadn't had a chance to reach back out to her and find out. Maybe we'll chit-chat with her between now and then to find out for sure. But we do have a backup if Miss Elizabeth doesn't show up on for the interview. By the way, for those who don't get the reference, it's Macho Man Randy Savage. He used to call his girlfriend at the time and then fiance and wife Elizabeth. He'd call her Miss Elizabeth. So, but anyways, if they don't happen to come by this morning, we will replay the interview that Mike had last week with our chief of police and as well as Representative Christina Arnold. We'll play that interview coming up in the 9 o'clock hour if we don't see Miss Elizabeth and Mickey Cruz discussing the event that's been postponed until December. They can still come out and talk about it. I mean, we definitely want to get folks out when it comes around this December. If you've never been to one of those tequila festivals, they're an absolute blast. I had some friends go to one up in Ruidoso a couple months ago, and they just had it was it's basically, I think it's like $50 or $60, but you get to sample like 12 different kinds of tequila, and it's basically they're just doing shots like all night. So it's and then a bunch of tacos to like soak up all the alcohol, basically.
Well, no, when you said Miss Elizabeth, it made me think of Sanford and Son. It's like, I'm coming for you, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, this is the big one.
Yeah,
that was a good one. Okay, so I obsessively watch the show Scrubs.
Okay.
In the show Scrubs, they actually give that theme song for Sanford and Son. They actually give it lyrics.
Well,
yeah.
I haven't watched that in so long.
Because Carla, Turk's fiance at the time, was being loud, and Sanford and Son had come on.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Simmer down now. It is time to watch the show. Just be quiet. Don't be licking me no more. Matter of fact, can you get me a handy wipe?" Yeah, so they actually gave the song lyrics. And so every time I hear the theme song for Sanford and Son, that's what I think. Don't be licking me no more.
Yeah, that show had a real musical flair
Dude,
to it.
It was one of the most musical shows ever. There was an entire episode called My Musical where
That's my
woman-
favorite episode.
It's the best episode ever. In fact, the girl who has the brain injury and starts hearing people sing, she was, and this is how deep you get when you get two potentially autistic people on a morning show. Her name is Stephanie Abruzzo, and she was the original in the original cast of Avenue Q on Broadway.
Okay.
One of my favorite Broadway musicals. So that's why she had the singing talent. I also was literally yesterday driving around singing the "It's your hair, your nose, your chinless face. You always need a hug, not to mention all the manly appletinis that you chug. That you continue to call me mentor continues to perplex. And oh my God, stop telling me when you have nerdy sex. Yeah, I learned like every word to the song. In fact, the song Guy Love from that episode was mine and my buddy Brian's like ringtone for each other for the longest time.
Wow, I gotta check out Avenue Q.
It's a great musical. But yeah, so I'm obsessed with the show Scrubs is basically the whole point of
Is that the same episode where the guy from Men at Work is singing Overkill?
No, that was season 2, episode 1 called My Overkill.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my dad's favorite episode.
That's a great episode. For those who don't know, the lead singer of Men at Work actually broke off and did his own thing for a while. I can't remember he did a couple of songs, but yeah, that's another great one. They did have a musical bend to the show Scrubs, but I have obsessively watched that show probably 4 times all the way through.
Okay.
It's one of the great, and from what I understand, they're supposedly working on a reboot. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Scrubs, it's the funniest show you're not watching.
Exactly. Bill Lawrence is one of the greatest showrunners in the history of television. Everything he's done has been phenomenal. In fact, he's the showrunner for what's that show that Mike's all into on Apple TV? What's the soccer coach? The British Ted Lasso.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's the showrunner for Ted Lasso. Bill
Okay.
Lawrence. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
that's cool.
if it gives you any hint of why that show is so doggone funny. Anyways, we do have an interview we got to get going here in just a minute. So let's do this. Let's dive into at 16 minutes after 7 o'clock, and I'm vamping to give Roy a chance to get over to the other room. Let's get you up to date with the weather. Oh, it does this to me every time. Hang on. Click it, and here's the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. It looks like that monsoon moisture will stay off to our west for a little while, so things look dry today. We will have a mix of sunshine and clouds and fairly comfortable daytime highs in the mid-80s. Overnight, partly cloudy and isolated thunderstorm possible, but rain chances are fairly low. We'll stay in the mid-60s, and then we're in the upper 80s with sunshine coming up on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. 16 minutes after 7 o'clock. Currently 68 degrees round Roswell Way. Humidity at 78%. Winds out of the north at around 3 miles an hour with a barometer of about 30.13 inches and a dew point of 61 degrees. Looking at 86 degrees with a mix of clouds and sun today. It's actually the perfect mix of clouds as of the last few days. It's just been phenomenal. In fact, I actually watched, it was the coolest thing in the world. I watched a cloud move on the ground. I've never actually seen it before, but it was like a sunny day, and there's a cloud that was like creeping over an area, and I like watched it chase after a car. It was really, really cool. It was kind of like the wall of ice in the movie Day After Tomorrow. Is it Day After Tomorrow? Yeah, Day After Tomorrow. When the ice is chasing after the people, and they go behind the steel door, and for some reason that stops the ice.
Oh, yeah.
It's like ice. Everybody knows steel stops ice. Anyways, I digress. Mix of clouds and sun, 86 degrees for the high. Winds out of the east at around 5 miles an hour. For tonight, partly cloudy, a low of around 65 degrees. Winds out of the east at around 5 miles an hour, becoming west after midnight. Mostly sunny and 87 for your Thursday. Winds out of the west at around 5 miles an hour, becoming east later in the afternoon. And mostly clear, 67 for your overnight low. For your Thursday night, winds south 5 to 10. Friday, sunny, 89. And then the clouds move in and the rain chances as well. 20% chance of the wet stuff for your Saturday, mostly afternoon. 93 for the high, 20% chance of the wet stuff on Sunday, 93 for the high as well. And then back up to 94 on Monday with a 20% chance, 30% chance of showers on Tuesday, a high of only 90 degrees. All right, yes.
I was going to say, Steve, I don't know if steel can stop jet fuel.
Everybody knows that jet fuel can melt steel beams.
But I don't know if that's in poor taste if it's coming up. But,
no, I actually I saw a story. There it is. I had to make sure I had the interview ready. I watched saw a story about there's a peach company. I think it's out of either California or Colorado or Georgia, where on every box of peaches they send out, on the bottom of the box of peaches, they literally have a message about how 9/11 was an inside job and how we need to reopen the investigation. It talks about how, like, in this little paragraph at your bottom of your box of peaches, it talks about how Building 7 was never struck and yet fell at free fall speeds, and all the stuff that you heard if you ever watched Loose Change or Zeitgeist or any of those documentaries that came out shortly after. But yeah, so just all that stuff, and it's like, I mean, I appreciate your efforts, box of peaches, but keep your opinions to yourself and just continue to be juicy and delicious. Thanks.
Yeah.
I don't need to get my political opinions from my fruit boxes.
I don't know if you got my joke earlier, but it was the reference to Family Guy where they're sort of diss Scrubs, and they're like, and Quagmire says, "It's the funniest show you're not watching."
Oh, that's right.
Because like most of the funny stuff that happens isn't actually in the show. It's like in Jamie's mind.
Right. JD's mind. I like how Peter calls JD and Turk scrubs and black scrubs. That always made me laugh. Where's Black Scrubs? Is he around? 20 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's do this. Gonna pause, pay a couple of these bills, and after this, we'll replay the interview that Mike had with Miss Regina Smith. My eyes don't work. With Miss Regina Smith, the family nurse practitioner from Loveless Regional Hospital, on the other side of a morning without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
The E&MU Roswell Pool is open for summer 2022, and it's open 7 days a week from 10 to 11 every day for lap swimming and from 11 to 5 for open swim. Just $5 for the whole day. Once you pay, you can stay all day. With full concession stand, lots of covered seating, and more. Swim passes are available, and E&MUR students get in half off. Book the pool for your next party or get-together and run the pool from 6 to 10 p.m. For information and reservations, call 575-624-7305. That's 575-624-7305. The season is underway for your Goddard Rockets, and this Friday night, your Rockets return to the Wool Bowl for their first home game of the season against the Cavemen of Carlsbad. Fiera 106.1 FM and KSVPTV.com will have every second of the action. Join Chris Deck and Chris Roybal for the pregame show beginning at 6:45 and kickoff at 7. Rockets versus the Cavemen of Carlsbad. Friday night beginning at 6:45 on Fiera 106.1 FM and online at KSVPTV.com. Southeastern New Mexico's sports authority, then, now, and always.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Slugs have 4 noses, but no fingers to pick them. Here's Mike Winters.
Joining us in studio this morning from Loveless, the Specialty Healthcare, Regina Smith. It's Certified Nurse Practitioner. What's the F stand for? Family Nurse Practitioner. Sir. There you go. I always get messed up on the initials here, but Family Nurse Practitioner. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm awesome. Thank you.
Joining us in studio this morning from Loveless, the Specialty Healthcare, Regina Smith. It's Certified Nurse Practitioner. What's the F stand for? Family Nurse Practitioner. Sir. There you go. I always get messed up on the initials here, but Family Nurse Practitioner. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm awesome. Thank you.
Well, we're back and probably talking about a subject that we all need to talk about that everyone kind of, pushes off a little bit or delays, but we do want to remind folks that, the importance of colonoscopies and I know no one's lining up to have people go right up the back end there and check things out. No one's like, I can't wait for that. But in terms of how much benefit your life has, it's definitely a pretty simple thing to and trust me, as someone who's just gone through this in the last year or so here, it's a big deal. Colonoscopies. Last time we talked to you, I think it was right around the time. Well, maybe they were kind of starting to get the word out that, hey, 45 is the new screening age for getting colonoscopies and things like that.
Yes.
And I'm sure to be honest, I'm 49 and I went and got mine done because of it. I said, and they found like a half dozen polyps back there. So they got a baker's half dozen in there
sure,
of polyps. Yes. And so they had to do a couple surgeries to get rid of them. But they're gone, and now I'm good to go. In like 3 years from now, I got to go back because I had 6 of them. They're going to want me to come back every 3 years instead of whatever the normally is. But I'm 49, and what happens if I waited, longer? So I'm proof in the pudding. 45. Go get the screening done. It's not that big a deal, and it really is the best way when it comes to colon cancer and those types of things. This is the way to prevent that kind of stuff from happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And 45, I wanted to explain, 45 is for a person of average risk.
Okay. So if you've got a family history or something or higher risk, you probably should be doing sooner than that.
Yes. So the guidelines pretty much state if your father, say, was diagnosed with colon cancer at age 40.
Okay.
10 years prior to that, you need to be having your first colonoscopy. So that would be 30.
Okay.
So we see a lot of young people that have first-degree relatives that have had colon cancer come in much earlier. So, yes.
Well, and here's the good news. In the world of cancer, generally colon cancer is one of the more slower-moving cancers. That's why the colonoscopy is the best source for that, because generally speaking, if they find something and they find a polyp that's got the right recipe or already has started doing that, they can nip it, pardon the pun, nip it in the bud here pretty quick. Yes. And it's not where it's going. But going on check, it will kill you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And to be honest, this is where I don't want to get but don't do what Steve Jobs did.
Right.
Steve Jobs died of colon cancer, and he didn't have, there's 2 different types there's one that's more aggressive, and then there's the one that most people get that's a slow.
Sure.
He had the latter, the slower one. But rather than going with the doctor's advice, he was doing a lot of his own stuff and doing things that hindered and did not help he'd probably still be with us today if he listened to his doctor.
Absolutely.
And so don't go that route. Don't try, the doctors and nurses and everybody, especially Loveless, they're pretty good at this now. They know exactly what's going on. Trust their expertise. Let them go in there and do. And I guarantee you won't have a Steve Jobs problem.
Exactly.
That's I know because that's a famous case and everyone knows about that. And he died. He's one of the few that I think you could say die of colon cancer now, because we're at a point now with if people are getting their screenings, nobody should be dying of this because they should be able to catch it early. And it's a minor inconvenience in your life.
It's a very simple process, quite honestly. Years ago, we used to talk about, and everybody would joke about, you have to drink a gallon of stuff to clean you out, and it takes forever. And it's not like that anymore.
Yeah,
at all.
Don't get me wrong. Your prep work is probably the hardest part of the entire procedure, but generally speaking, and if yours is a little different, please tell me. But this is kind of what I did. It was basically they, that day before you take 4 of I think it's Dulcolax, which are a pill. A laxative, which you normally would not take 4, but you take 4 in this, and then a couple hours later you'll start drinking Gatorade mixed with like a Miralax or something along those lines, and then you drink about one of those 30 with the bigger bottles of it, whatever. Over the course of a couple hours, you'll drink about 8 ounces every 15-20 minutes or so.
Sure.
And it tastes like Gatorade. So you're drinking Gatorade, pretty regularly. And then somewhere during that process, you're going to feel a rumble, and then you're just going to move into the bathroom until everything clears out.
Exactly.
Take a book, take your iPad, and watch a movie, whatever it is you got to do.
Yes.
And then about that night, you clear. And then that rest of the day, you're obviously on a liquid diet of drinking, water and fluids. You can eat and I say eat. You can eat like bone broth.
Sure.
As long as it's not red or purple, things that look like blood.
Orange. Right. We don't want to dye your intestine.
you can eat popsicles and stuff generally.
Absolutely.
They should do that kind of, as long as they're not red or orange or because they get nervous when they see red things in your.
Exactly.
But and then in the surgery itself, it's very pleasant. I mean, you go in there. They put you to sleep. You wake up. You feel refreshed. You need the day to kind of, because you've been under anesthesia, so they don't want you operating heavy machinery. But you go home, chill for the rest of the day, and you're back to work the next day like normal.
Exactly. It's a painless process, and quite honestly, it takes usually 10 to 20 minutes. I mean, when
they were in a little longer than me because they were doing work back there. But The last one, I think I was in and out in like 40 minutes. Like I woke up and everything, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's only 8 o'clock." Or I was like, "Man, just started like half hour ago."
Absolutely. And while they're there, and you make a very good point, while they're there, they go ahead and get polyps that could be precancerous. And we look at the different types of polyps and, determine, when do you need to come back by the different types of polyps. They're all sent off for pathology. We're able to tell, this is precancerous. This is more dangerous than this kind.
This one's just a garden variety one. Yeah.
It's very personalized. This is not a we run you through the mill type of thing, And that's very important because, when we talk about cancer is cancer. Whether it's breast cancer, whether it's brain cancer, whether it's colon cancer.
Yeah, whether it's slow or fast, it's a scary word.
The scary, right? So, and, people don't like to talk about going and getting a colonoscopy. It's not the fun thing to go to.
Oh, yeah.
But it's necessary,
Absolutely.
it's a reality.
And I promise you this, if your fears, and I get it, you're being knocked out, that's a lot, it's a different world for most people. The doctors and staff, they do this every day, and it's I mean, don't get me wrong, they pay attention to detail and everything else, but in their world, these are routine procedures. This is something they do. I don't know, you and the doctors probably do what, a dozen of these a day or something. I have no idea how long they take, but on average, they do multiple ones of these a day, all day.
Well, Dr. Torres is our surgeon that does the colonoscopies. He's been doing this for many, many, many years. So has a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Yes, he's able to do quite a few in the day.
And you're the one that they probably initially meet with and talk to.
Absolutely,
and
in
then,
the office.
And then usually the aftercare when they talk about the results and things. And then Regina's the one that you sit with.
Absolutely.
And you go over the numbers and go with it and the follow-on and the aftercare.
Sure.
And that's kind of your job in that world is you're the one who talks to the patient, deals. I mean, the surgeon talks to you and answers all your questions, but generally they're going from surgery to surgery, and then
Correct.
Regina's here to come and make sure you're taken care of,
Correct.
Before and after kind
Correct.
of thing.
And that's pretty much how that is. Dr. Torres does see people in the office, of course. So, of course, you could see and talk to him if you wish. That's not a problem. We work very well together. So, yes.
And here's the thing, because you're generally starving after your procedure, and that's kind of your reward is go anywhere you want for eat or breakfast, depending on the time of day you have it. And I'm just saying, if you're at Loveless, just week on, you're going to be over at the hospital getting the surgery, just go on down and have a burrito afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
They got the best burritos in town. He's laughing because I do this every single interview. And I got to because it's kind of my jam now. But this is one of those ones that this is like peas and carrots goes right together where like you just had your colonoscopy. You don't even have to get in your car, mosey on down to the cafeteria, have you a breakfast burrito that's going to be great and satisfying, and then have your caregiver take you home where you can rest and recoup the rest of the day.
That's right. It's an easy process, quite honestly.
And I'm not going to lie. Because both the multiple surgeries I had for it, or colonoscopies I had, they're all early in the morning, like 7 in the morning. So I generally come off a night's of sleep, and but generally it's one of, I've been cleaning up the night before, so, it's kind of, but I'll get there after a full night's sleep, go in there, do the surgery, and generally by 8:30 or whatever, you're done with the surgery. But after that, whatever the anesthesia it is, I feel like I've had a full night's sleep, like you've only been out an hour or whatever, but you feel like you've had a full 8 hours sleep rested. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
Like you wake up and you're like, hey, it's going to be a good day here,
Right.
I've never, I don't get that all the time, like waking up in the morning from your sleep, and it's so, but the 3-4 times I've gone to colonoscopies, I've had it each time, and I'm like, I kind of dig this little. It's kind of, when you wake up, you're just like, oh, I'm just waiting for birds to sing or something. Oh, maybe it's just my experience, but it was kind of nice.
Yes, it is. So.
Yeah, so please get these things scheduled. If you have no family history,
sure,
45 is the magic number.
And that's for average risk, 45.
Yeah.
And if no polyps are found, no problems are found, then your colonoscopy should be every 10 years.
Okay. But if they do find some, then they're going to probably schedule, unless they can get them all in that one time. That really depends on the scenario there.
Usually, from what I've seen, they do.
Yeah.
They get them all.
I was different.
Yeah. You come, you meet with me, and then we discuss, okay, you have these types of polyps. So you need to come back in 3 years or 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So that we can watch these.
Yeah,
make sure they don't return.
To me, it's almost like, and this is, I'm going to trivialize things, but I remember when I got the report and everything, it almost reminded me of like watching some 80s like cartoon where they're showing like the mug shots of like Dick Tracy bad guys, and they're like, this is this kind of cult polyp, and it's like fish face or something. He's a nasty one. But like, because I had like a couple, and then there was one or two that were like, these are the ones that were a little nervous about, But it reminded me because they had pictures, of each one and everything, and it was almost like a mug shot. It's like, Shifty Malone, he's a nasty one, and that's what it reminded me of that a little bit. But yeah, they're like they say, they each one's got the type label, and they know exactly. Oh, this one's not a big deal. No, this one, these are the type that develop into cancer if go untreated, and that's what they're looking for. There's certain polyps that are the ones that are just welcoming for cancer, and others aren't, and that's where they know the difference, and they clean them all out because you don't want polyps in there. They don't want you gumming up the process, so they remove them all. But that's where they. And then once that happens, then you generally, like you said, if you have 0, then it's 10 years. But once they get like I said, I had a plethora of polyps, and after all said and done, I don't go back. I go once every 3 years, which is it's not bad.
And one thing I do need to explain is, and I'm sure you can validate this, if you've got polyps, you don't know that you've got polyps.
You don't. You can't.
They're silent.
Yeah, I don't.
And these are the things that can turn cancerous. So, I mean, that's the whole thing about this.
And this is what I asked, because I was like, well, why do I have 6 of them? Is it something I'm doing? And they said, not really. It's there's a lot of variables, but really there's nothing you can do or not do to either increase or decrease your chances of polyps. It just happens. Obviously a family history thing is generally an indicator. If your family has them, odds are pretty good you're going to be getting them too. But other than that, is it my diet? Not really. That contributes to other factors, but not polyps. Sure. So if you've been eating cheeseburgers, that's not that, or been eating salad your whole life, it's no rhyme or reason here.
Sure.
So that's why it's so important for everyone to go. If you don't have a history, then 45. If you do, then earlier than that.
Yes, the family history, please. If you have a family member of first degree, mother, father, is what we're looking at. That has had colon cancer, please make an appointment, get in somewhere, get this done, come see us. We need to check this out because some people may have to have their first colonoscopy at age 20.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Yeah.
So we really need to look at this. And these come from very, very, very strong guidelines that have been studied and researched. So it's not just something we pulled out of the air.
So let me ask this too, because this is something you guys deal with a lot too, is, people getting their colonoscopies, but some also get the other side at the
endoscopy.
GI and everything.
Yes, sir.
What would be reasons why someone could do both at the same time?
Well, and we do a lot of those. Somebody that has chronic heartburn or reflux symptoms that's never been checked out, if that's never been checked out, that can actually turn cancerous on its own.
Okay. So that it's kind of like if you, I'm kind of curious, like for people that take like Prilosec, those types of things, are they more susceptible to that? Or, obviously they're taking it for a reason, but is that wearing away anything in there
that constant reflux of that acid can cause a change in the lining.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Because isn't that part with a valve or something that it's not opening, closing right?
Right.
Yeah.
It may be floppy.
Okay.
And there's other things that can be done. If that's a chronic problem, there's surgeries that can be done.
Okay.
For that, to help that.
Gotcha.
And we cover that too. That's something Dr. Torres does too. So,
that's all your scope of work
we
there.
can handle it all from the top to the bottom.
From the mouth to the anus and everything in between. You kind of got that territory there.
If you've had chronic heartburn, you really need to get an endoscopy, and it's just as easy, if not easier, than the colonoscopy.
Is the prep a little easier on that one?
Of course,
I've never had that one.
That one, you're just nothing by mouth after midnight.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it's really no big deal.
Excellent. You're asleep for everything else, so it's a good deal.
Easy deal.
Yeah, but please get those appointments scheduled. Get an appointment with Regina and her office here. You can call direct 575-625-3400.
Correct.
And of course, they're located on Country Club, 311 West Country Club, Suite 1 there, and not at the main hospital. You'll go there for the actual surgery.
Correct.
But for the prep work and the consultation and all that, you'll meet Regina at the office there on Country Club.
Correct.
And get that taken care of. And even if you're not sure if you need a colonoscopy, maybe you're just having issues like acid reflux, or you're having, digestive issues, diarrhea or constipation, things like that. Some of the minor stuff, talk with your primary care, but they may say, you know what, you need to go and talk to a specialist here, and let's get that looked at. But even if you don't have to, but if you're dealing with those kind of issues, you can make an appointment direct with the office there.
Absolutely.
And they'll get a take a look. And you may not need a GI or a colonoscopy or nothing, but they'll at least give you options on what you have and what we can do to help you.
Exactly. So it's full service for all of it, yes.
And that's the kind of stuff that, you don't want to be dealing, because that's the quality of life type stuff.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff when every time you eat a meal, the next thing you know, you're in pain every time you try to go to bed.
And we have a lot of people that come and see us for issues like this.
Yeah.
So, yes.
But don't delay on the colonoscopy stuff. I know you get in there, especially young people, because I know you think you're indestructible. I was young like you too, and thought, you're in your 20s, and there's a heart attack. That's years away. Colon stuff, strokes. That's all in the way, and not on my radar. A, it gets faster. You get older faster than you think.
Absolutely.
B, especially in the world of colon cancer and all this, it doesn't care how old you are. If the ingredients are the ingredients, get it checked out. If check with your moms and your dads and your uncles and grandparents, what's their history, and if they too were dealing with colon cancer or those kind of issues, then you need to talk to your doctors and say, hey, is it a good idea to me to get these? And talk to your primary care if you want a second opinion. They'll probably tell you, yeah, you probably should do it sooner rather than later. And then make that appointment. And,
absolutely.
And make that, get the consultation. And that's where the great part is Regina, you'll sit down and kind of go over everything with them. So, because I think unknown is our biggest fear a lot of times when it comes to especially medical. If you don't know what they're doing to you, that makes you a little nervous, And so for you to kind of explain the whole thing, it makes it like a cakewalk, and it really is. It's so important, but it's so easy.
Absolutely, and I'm here. That's what I do. I'm here to make you comfortable about it, answer any of your questions, go through it step by step with you.
Yeah.
So by the time that we're done, you're going to have a much better level of comfort with it.
And I'm telling you, it really I will tell you this, after the second surgery, when they did remove a bunch of polyps, I was in a little bit of discomfort for a day or two, but they were doing some work back there. For the typical stuff like that, you don't feel a thing. You don't notice a thing.
No,
You're
don't.
good to go. With that one, I had some bleeding and things for a couple of days, but that was because they were, like I said, they were doing some work in there.
Sure.
And
right.
They put their hard hats on and get in there. But and that's why. But even after that, a couple of days, I was fine. And then when I had one, the one after, about 6 months later or whatever, to finish the job up, that was easy peasy, real like the normal colonoscopy was the first time. So So the only time I had any kind of a little bit of rough afterwards for a day or two was when they pulled a half dozen, or I don't think they did all 6 at that time, but they did a good majority of them at that one time, and that's a little bit of work, but but that was it. And I'm the extreme case there. If you're normal and average, you're not dealing with any of that.
Oh
stuff,
no, not at all.
Yeah,
not at all.
And if you get 1 or 2, it's no big deal. It really isn't. It's not the end of. This is why, because you had a colonoscopy in your 40s instead of your 60s or 70s for the first time, and because at that point, finding something like that, a little polyp wouldn't be, but that's probably not what you're seeing at that point in someone's life. You're seeing something that's more developed, more maybe cancer at that point.
It's absolutely possible, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the trick here. It's colon cancer. It can be common, but it's very slow moving, which makes it easily treatable if you catch it in time.
And it can be very silent.
Yes, that's the thing. You don't feel issues. You feel normal until it's too late, till it's so big and to the point where it's impacting and blocking things.
Exactly.
And then once it's at that level, then it's a serious issue, and we're worried about your life at that point.
It absolutely is.
So don't let it get to that point.
Exactly.
Just make it easy.
Come see me.
When you turn 45, schedule that appointment, just like for women with your mammograms or your heart tests and those. When you hit those milestones in your life to get these things done, 45 is the one, and this is for everyone, men, women. If you have a colon, which we all do,
exactly.
then you need to schedule this colonoscopy.
And if you need to schedule before that because of family history, please talk with your primary. If you don't have a primary, call our office
and ask.
We will get you in. We will get you taken care of.
Yeah, it's don't just ignore it. It's too easy to make this not a big deal.
Correct.
For you to do that. But please call the office direct, 575-625-3400. Or come by for a visit, 311 West Country Club Road, Suite 1.
Sure.
And come on by, and Loveless has got you covered with everything else too. If you're dealing with any other issues, come on by to the specialty healthcare clinic or any of the facilities that are part of the Loveless group here, and they got you covered.
Exactly.
I know we're in the fall here and people, still looking at other preventative care things, mammograms, please. I know the world of COVID's probably put a little of that on hiatus for a while, but we're past all that. You need to be back checking with your doctors, getting your regular visits, and don't be not taking care of those appointments, things like that. That's the trick with this and anything else. It's having that relationship with your healthcare professionals so that you are on the same page and working together in concert as opposed to. And that's I think a lot of people need to, when the doctors and the nurses and everyone give you that information to talk about, they're not doing it as all right, you got to do this or you're going to die or you're going to be sick kind of thing. Look, they're trying to figure out a problem, and they're working with you on figuring out that problem. And if you look at it in terms of this is me going to either take this and die or not take this and die, then it's a whole different. But if you're looking at it as like, hey, we've got a mystery to solve here. Something's not working right. We've got to fix it. It's no different than you're talking to your mechanic, and the mechanic's like, I'm not sure if that's the radio. Is that a muffler or is that an exhaust thing or what? We're talking about. It's no different with your healthcare professionals. They're saying, all the indicators point to us that it's a muffler, but it might be the exhaust. You know what I mean? And that's that. If you think of it in that term of relationship, like, hey, you're working together to try to pinpoint a problem and ultimately fix it, then you're going to understand that doctor and nurse and patient relationship much better.
Absolutely.
And that's where you come from there, as opposed to, I'm just scared you're going to stick me with that or poke me with that or put that somewhere I don't want it to go.
Exactly.
And change your mindset about it a little bit that way. So, is there any information you wanted to share that I just skipped over?
I just wanted to let everybody know that Loveless also, like what you brought up, we've got our specialty clinic. We've got our primary care clinic, which is very, very big, very, very busy.
Yeah.
But easy to get into.
Sure.
We've got our orthopedic clinic. So Loveless is, like you were talking about, full spectrum.
Yeah.
So we can help you out. All you need to do is give us a call.
And the great part is, you work with Eastern and other hospitals, so your doctors so even if you have a doctor over here and your primary care, but you want the Loveless folks looking at you for the colon, they work hand in hand and all that stuff. So don't feel like you're obligated to one or the other because that's where your doc. Go where you want to go. That's
absolutely.
And they'll work with you and take care of you.
And you will meet me in the office, and I will be the face that you see when you come in.
Yeah.
And then after your colonoscopy or your procedure,
Regina's going to be your guide through the colonoscopy.
I will guide you through this.
She will be taking you down the yellow brick road as you go through and guiding you through all the steps and easing any fears or issues you have. And basically, by the time you're done with her, it's going to be no big deal for you. You're going to be like, oh, this is what I'm worried about. It's like, yeah, the only thing that stinks is you're going to be stuck on a toilet for a few hours on the day before. That's the only part. Is you're going to be like, wow, where did that come from?
But, honestly, it's a really small price to pay.
It is.
To have some insurance, that you're doing well, or that you do need to have something looked at differently.
And if you got a busy, chaotic life, look at it glass half full. You're going to have hours to yourself the day before where no one's going to be harassing you, knocking your door, phone calling you, be like, look, I'm indisposed, and you got you time for 3 hours.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes.
But again, folks, if you have any questions or want to get a colonoscopy scheduled, or just you've got some healthcare issues that involve with the digestive GI area, and you need that of a specialist to come take a look at you, don't hesitate to call at 575-625-3400. That's Loveless Specialty Care Health Clinic. I'll get that right. 311 West Country Club Road, Suite 1. Come on by. And that's also the same place for all the other, specialty doctors there as part of Loveless too. So if you're going there to work on,
cardiology, whatever it is you need.
Yeah, they've got the specialists there that they'll take care of all that, and then get you ready for surgeries or whatever they got to do to fix you.
Yes.
So,
yes, sir.
Good deal. One more time, 575-625-3400, or come by Loveless Specialty Healthcare Clinic at 311 West Country Club Road, Suite 1. Come on by, and then don't forget, after your appointment, go over to the hospital and have a burrito.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you got a group of patients ready and waiting for you when you get to work here to ease their minds and get them ready for their colonoscopy.
Yes, sir. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Be blessed. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, 7:51. Let's.
The area have since reopened. Saturday night's band performance of Grupo Maldad will be rescheduled for a later date. Chavez County Commissioners accepting state appropriation money. On Thursday, the commissioners also approved a waiver of a $5 late fee for delinquent property taxes. Treasurer Charlotte Andrade also requested the waiver again this year. The county has suspended the late fee since about 2008, when it applies to accounts of $100 or less. And more than 4 grueling months and $300 million later, the federal government has declared the largest wildfire in New Mexico's recorded history, now 100% contained. A notable milestone, but just another step in what local residents and officials say will be a long journey to recovery. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
In Santa Barbara, California, a billionaire software designer named Dan O'Dowd is running for the Senate. O'Dowd has flooded California with paid TV commercials showing a self-driving Tesla running over child-sized mannequins time and time again, all the while claiming that Tesla software is the worst he's ever seen. If elected, he says he's going to put a stop to self-driving cars, and guess what happened next? I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by CarShield. Protect your car from expensive repairs. Visit carshield.com/Kim and save 10%. Deductible may apply. O'Dowd's commercial is viral and now an internet challenge. Naturally, Elon Musk, along with Tesla superfans, are apparently defending Tesla to the death, actually videoing their own children standing in front of a moving self-driving Tesla to prove O'Dowd wrong. At least one video of this lunacy has already been shown on CNBC. Now, of course, these people are morons, and it will take just one Tesla failure to prove it to the world. Get more tech news at commando.com. Using the internet without ExpressVPN is like checking in your baggage at the airport without a lock. You think your stuff is private, but you never know who just might be going through it. When you go online without a VPN, internet service providers can see every single website you visit. They can legally sell this information without your consent to ad companies and tech giants who use your data to target you. That's why I recommend ExpressVPN. When you use ExpressVPN, internet service providers can't see your online activity. Your identity is anonymized by a secure server, and your data is encrypted for maximum protection. Just fire up the ExpressVPN app and click one button. It works on all your devices, phones, laptops, even routers, so everyone who shares your Wi-Fi is protected. Get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package at expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. It looks like that monsoon moisture will stay off to our west for a little while, so things look dry today. We will have a mix of sunshine and clouds and fairly comfortable daytime highs in the mid-80s. Overnight, partly cloudy and isolated thunderstorm possible, but rain chances are fairly low. We'll stay in the mid-60s, and then we're in the upper 80s with sunshine coming up on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Hey, New Mexico. Experiencing issues keeping your office technology up to date with these crazy supply chain issues? Well, DSI is here to help. We've diversified our products and solutions to help your business not just survive, but thrive in any situation. Have your teams collaborate and share with high-def video walls and interactive smart panels. With free unlimited support, the fear of any new technology is a thing of the past. Contact DSI today to upgrade your workspace. www.dsinm.com.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Had little boys soccer action yesterday, and this is a good match. Roswell defeats NMMI 1-0, and that was a home game for the Coyotes, who are now 2-0 on the season. They'll be playing in a tournament on Friday against Chaparral. Game starts at 2 o'clock. Meanwhile, we haven't talked much about NMMI so far this during the preseason, but remember, the Colts went all the way to the 3A state championship game last year before falling to Sandia Prep. And we're not sure if these guys are still on the roster. NMMI's roster changes more than most schools, but Humberto Valdez, Juan Ortiz, Alan Cordova were all state defenders last year as underclassmen, so they may be part of the mix. And judging by the low-scoring match last night, maybe they were. NMMI will be at Clovis next game next Tuesday. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. The Internal Revenue Service announced Tuesday that it was conducting a comprehensive review of safety at its facilities. The climate, healthcare, and tax legislation signed into law by President Biden last week included $80 billion in funding for tax collection efforts, although Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen specifically directed the agency to not focus its attention on taxpayers with middle-class incomes. Misinformation spread rapidly online that the agents were going to crack down on taxpayers of all earnings levels. President Biden on Wednesday is set to announce his long-delayed move to forgive up to $10,000 in federal student loans for many Americans. Investigators say one of the drivers of a Brinks tractor-trailer was asleep inside the big rig parked near a remote Southern California rest stop earlier this summer when thieves broke a lock and stole millions of dollars worth of jewelry and gemstones. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
This is the owner of Trustmark Roofing, and nothing makes us happier than telling our customers no. As in, no pricing games. We give you a guaranteed price, and then we stand by it. No surprises, no gotchas. No obscurity. We don't just tell you what's wrong with your roof. We record our inspections and show you. No lemons. We install premium roofing materials from top brands like Owens Corning. No shortcuts. We're in the 2% of roofers with the Owens Corning Preferred Contractor Certificate for our local area. This means we offer precision installation and the longest warranties. Want a beautiful new roof that's built to last? Choose Trustmark Roofing, the roofer that loves to tell our customers no. For a free estimate, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
The Bulls are coming to Roswell, and the savings are coming to Roswell Nissan. We have a selection of over 25 brand new vehicles on the lot, so you can ride away today in an all-new 2022 Frontier, Pathfinder, or Rogue. And the pre-owned lot is stocked with herds of practically new vehicles in stock, with many 20s and 21s in stock. And we have over 100 vehicles on the lot. When no one has vehicles, Nissan does. Get ready for bull riding action and head for Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
All About Spas and Leisure Living is looking for a full-time sales associate for their showroom at 3700 North Main Street in Roswell. Do you enjoy working with people? Are you energetic, motivated, and driven? Apply in person. Come to the All About Spas showroom across from Discount Tire in Roswell and fill out an application. Base pay guarantee plus commissions. Prior sales experience is helpful but not necessary. We are offering mentoring, training, and will invest in your success. Apply in person and come be a part of the team. All About Spas is an equal opportunity employer.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed, antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
Well, the biting bugs and the ferocious flyers are out in force. And if you don't take care of them now, you'll be swatting and scratching all summer. Makes me itchy just thinking about it. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Whether it's keeping the fleas and ticks off your animals or keeping the flies and mosquitoes away from your barbecue, you gotta use the right stuff. And you gotta do it at the right time. So come see us now at Roswell Seed Company and don't let the bugs tick you off. Get it? Tick.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Sigmund Freud once believed that cocaine could be used to help treat a morphine addiction. Mike used bacon to get over his addiction to beef. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. 1 minute away from 8 o'clock on this here Wednesday morning. If you missed any portion of the program, you can always catch it in its entirety at ksvptv.com. There, the program will sit under the Mornings with Mike Winters tab. Click on that, and you'll be treated to the latest in Mornings with Mike Winters. We'll also have the show up on all of our socials, our YouTube, our Facebook, after the program. Coming up next hour, we got folks from Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southeastern New Mexico scheduled to join us. We'll be talking about what's going on with their program and how the littles are doing, how the bigs are doing, and how the littles need bigs, and all that fun stuff. That's coming up next hour on A Morning Without Mike Winters. Stay tuned. We'll have fun.
Roswell's home for talk radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Could cost taxpayers hundreds of billions of dollars. President Biden today expected to sign an executive order transferring responsibility from some of those who took out student loans to those who did not, canceling up to $10,000 in federal student loan debt for certain borrowers. Still, White House correspondent Greg Clugston says it's not good enough for some people, and it may wind up satisfying no one.
Even before the announcement, Biden allies are expressing disappointment. The head of the NAACP, which has aggressively lobbied the president to take bolder action, said this is not how you treat black voters who turned out in record numbers. Meanwhile, Republicans are blasting the decision as a government handout.
And some critics also view it as a cynical attempt to buy votes ahead of the midterm elections. The voters have spoken in the primaries in Florida. Congressman Charlie Crist won the Democrat nomination for governor. He'll challenge Republican Ron DeSantis this fall. Florida Democrat Congresswoman Val Demings easily won her party's nomination to challenge Republican Senator Marco Rubio. New York City Democrats choosing Jerry Nadler over Carolyn Maloney in a congressional primary that saw the two veteran lawmakers competing for the same seat.
Nadler has spent 30 years representing Manhattan's Upper West Side. Maloney, 30 years representing Manhattan's Upper East Side. But New York's new 12th district spans Central Park. Both have held powerful positions in Congress. Nadler, the chair of the House Judiciary Committee. Maloney, the first woman to chair the House Oversight and Reform Committee. In his victory speech, Nadler noted how he and Maloney have spent much of their adult lives working together and thanked her for decades of service to New York City. I'm Ben Thomas.
On Wall Street, the Dow is down 15 points. The Nasdaq 40 points higher, and the S&P is up 4. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon two factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
Thousands of South Africans are staging a nationwide strike demanding urgent government action to address a cost of living crisis. The BBC's Lubba Deseka is in Pretoria.
The unions are protesting about the spiralling cost of food, fuel and transport and the fact that wages have not kept up. Around a third of South Africans are unemployed and the country is grappling with the economic impact of global events such as COVID and the war in Ukraine. While organisers of today's action say they aim to bring the country to an economic halt, they've also acknowledged that numbers on the streets may not match similar shutdowns in previous years. The government says a no work, no pay principle will apply and essential workers cannot take part. But unions say they see this as the start of a series of actions they're willing to undertake until they get results.
Japan considering development of safer, smaller nuclear power plants. News and analysis at townhall.com. Our shopping habits are changing and the brick-and-mortar stores are taking note.
Consumers are wrestling with higher prices. Inflation's hovering near 4-decade highs, and that's being felt across the retail sector with few exceptions. Shoppers are trading down. They're buying cheaper brands, looking for discounts, and even making fewer visits to stores. They're cutting back on new clothing, electronics, furniture, and almost everything else that's not absolutely necessary. Macy's is reporting its sales slipped about 1% in the second quarter, but that was better than expected. It's cutting prices as it tries to unload a glut of unsold inventory. I'm Rita Foley.
The IRS claims an uptick in threats following President Biden's approval of a bill providing $80 billion to beef up tax enforcement. The agency says it's conducting what it terms a comprehensive review of existing safety and security measures. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The Travelician, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2. Try it again. The deuce of a morning without Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Here's the thing. The mic stand was blocking my buttons here, and I activated mic 4. Same thing I did yesterday with Elliot. It's the reason that, like, for the first part of the thing, he's like, I got to speak up, buddy. So, yeah, it was my fault.
Not to disrespect, no disrespect, but Mike is particularly bad about that.
About
like turning people's mics on.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, Mike definitely. Well, I understand. Here's the thing: when you sit here, you are in the director's chair. We call it the captain's chair jokingly, but this is the director's chair in that when you run this board, you have to control the sounds that are going out. And sometimes, you know, if like for example, Kim's here, he doesn't necessarily. She's going to be particularly talkative. He'll make the decision to not turn her mic on unless she starts getting into the conversation. Then he'll turn it on. It's kind of one of those, you have to make the call, kind of things. Most of the time, if somebody sits down, I'm going to turn their mic on, whether I let them know or not, just because I want to see what I catch. But I'm also nearsighted, so there's that.
I just know I've sat down a couple times, and he will not turn my mic on until like I start talking.
Right. Yeah, he does the same thing with me. And honestly, that's to control background sound, just because these mics, now while we have the limiters over here that control most of the sounds. I gotta turn my ringer off. That control most of it, only picks up what's directly in front of the microphone. Because like if I'm back here, it barely picks it up. But at the same time, when I turn your mic on and I turn my mic off, it still picks me up really good. You see, so it's just one of those things you have to kind of be aware of the sound of the room. And to a point, you and I are the only ones that can hear that because you and I are the only ones with the cans.
Yeah.
So that's sort of how that rolls.
The headphones.
Yeah, I call them cans.
I was like,
yeah, the cans. It's just jargon, radio jargon. Let me turn this down because some of our sales associates don't know that I'm doing a morning show.
It's funny, the doo-doo-doo. I don't know if that's an Apple thing, an iPhone
I'm pretty
thing?
sure it's an Apple thing, yeah.
Or an iPad thing, but like WWE ruined that for me with their guest manager or the mystery manager thing they were
turned
doing.
out to just be a laptop or whatever.
Yeah.
Or it was actually Michael Cole. Yeah, that was a stupid bit. That was a stupid creative. So last hour we were talking about
whatever you need to get Seth Green on the show. Yeah, he was he was the host once.
No, okay, you know when that jumped the shark? Jeremy Piven.
Yeah.
He came on in the run-up to SummerSlam, and he called it the Summerfest.
Because he had like a movie, a USA original movie at the time, I
it's
think.
better. It's better. He was promoting literally one of my favorite movies of all time, which is also one of the worst movies of all time. It's called The Goods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Live Hard, Sell Hard. It's legit one of my favorite movies of all time, but he was promoting that movie.
The Goods.
And he comes on, and he calls SummerSlam the Summerfest. That's officially when the guest host thing was like, I think we're done here. I think we're good. Can we move on? That's right up there with the whole $1 million giveaway thing where Vince would stand on the stage and just call random people and like nobody would answer. Or he'd just get like people would hang up on him thinking he was like a telemarketer or something. So yeah, it was a bad era.
They had like Don Johnson from Miami Vice too. And
everybody they had I think Donald Trump was guest host for a minute.
Oh yeah.
There was a whole hair versus hair thing with him and Vince. Matter of fact, it just came out that in that contract that he had signed, because a bunch of stuff is coming out about Vince, and a lot of the stuff has to do with his donations that he made to Trump's campaign. He made 2 donations to Trump's campaign that are coming out that he never reported, basically with WWE money. And now it's coming out. SEC filings are coming out. But in these reports, also we are seeing the contract that Donald Trump signed, and in that contract, he said, under no circumstances will I lose my hair. Under no he said, if the wrestler representing me, because it was a wrestler versus wrestler representing Trump and McMahon, he said, if the wrestler representing me, in this case Bobby Lashley, drops dead in the middle of the ring and loses, I still will not get my head shaved. That was ironclad. He would never lose his hair. So it was always going to be that Vince was going to get shaved.
That's
that
funny.
was always going to be the thing. So, let me give you the rundown for this hour of the program. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we have scheduled the folks from Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southeastern New Mexico. We'll be chit-chatting about their organization, all the stuff going on as we gear up for the back-to-school season, the fall season, and the big season. Because, littles need bigs, and we're reaching out to anybody with a little extra time who wants to be a part of changing a young person's life. They can do that through Big Brothers, Big Sisters. We'll be chatting about that coming up here in just a few minutes on this here Wednesday morning. So last hour, we were talking about the show Scrubs.
Yes.
And specifically the episode My Overkill. And for the entirety of the last hour, I have had this song in my head, so I have to play this.
Yep.
I have to. This is from the episode of Scrubs, literally called My Overkill. Somebody pieced together, because throughout the episode, he sings different parts of it. Somebody pieced together the whole song, and I have to play it. I'm sure we'll get flagged for this, but it's been driving me nuts.
Diving in too deep, possibly the complication.
Sean's Musical Hour.
Especially at night. I haven't been in music radio in a couple days. Let me have this.
Situations, I know we'll be all right.
perhaps it's just imagination.
Day after day it reappears. Everybody!
Hey, babe, come on, where you going?
Night after night, my heartbeat shows the fear. Ghosts appear and fade away.
I like how it's actually the footage.
Come back another day.
Alone between the sheets only brings exasperation. It's time to walk the streets. Smell the desperation.
Because yeah, the footage is actually happening in the background, so I'm watching. I'm just lost in footage. By the way, we'll actually get back to what we do for our living, talk radio, here in just a minute.
We're just killing time. It's fine.
Day after day it reappears. It's just such a good song. Night after night, my heartbeat. It's actually, I think, about to come to an abrupt ending right here. Let's see if they do it. They didn't do it. They didn't do it. I'm going to stop it right there. That's the part where Dr. Cox walks up, grabs the guitar, and smashes it over the guardrail. So, but
they didn't play that one?
In this video, they put it together lyrically in sequence. So it's actually sequenced
and they just
up.
skipped over that part.
Yes. Whoever put this video together is doing it for the song's sake. Is that the phone? Nope. Just thought I heard the phone. Keep one ear open just for the phone, just in case our guest happens to be downstairs. If not, by the way, we do have a backup. I
was gonna say some people listening to the radio saying, "Shut up, Sean! I'm trying to listen to the song."
Right, exactly. We're trying to listen to Colin Haver here, but if we don't hear from Big Brothers Big Sisters, we'll give them a little bit of time to show up. We will replay the interview I had yesterday with Miss Amy McVeigh-Tejas and the folks from Xcel Energy, Southwestern Public Service. And we'll talk to them, or we talked to them yesterday. We'll replay that interview coming up here in just a few minutes. If Big Brothers Big Sisters doesn't stop by and have a chat with us on this Wednesday morning. 15 minutes after 8 o'clock, let's pause and get you up to date with that weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Looks like that monsoon moisture will stay off to our west for a little while, so things look dry today. We will have a mix of sunshine and clouds and fairly comfortable daytime highs in the mid-80s. Overnight, partly cloudy and isolated thunderstorm possible, but rain chances are fairly low. We'll stay in the mid-60s, and then we're in the upper 80s with sunshine coming up on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 69 degrees out round Roswell Way, 21 degrees centigrade, if you will. Humidity is 76%, winds out of the north at around 3 miles an hour. The barometer is at 30.15 inches with a dew point of 61 degrees. Looking at 86, beautiful, beautiful day around Roswell Way. We're in the pocket, kids. If you're looking for some time to get outside and really see what the world has to offer you, a glimpse of the world outside today would be a great day to do it, because 86 degrees, mix of clouds and sun, winds out of the east at around 5 miles an hour. So very calm winds as well. Partly cloudy, dropping down to 65 for the overnight low. Winds out of the east at around 5 miles an hour, becoming southwest after midnight. For your Thursday, sunny skies, 87 for the high. Winds out of the west, 5 miles an hour, becoming east later in the afternoon. For Thursday night, mostly clear, dropping down to an overnight low of around 67 degrees. Winds coming out of the southeast between 5 and 10 miles an hour. And for your Friday, sunny skies, 89 for the high. Winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. A little warmer than I would prefer, but it's not going to be that bad. Weekend, though, is going to be hot. It's going to be muggy. 20% chance of showers after 1 p.m. for your Saturday. 93 for the high. 69 for the overnight low. And pretty much the same for the weekend. 93 for Sunday. 94 for the high on Monday. Still have not heard from our guest for this hour. So let's do this. Let's pause for a quick minute. Pay a couple bills. I'm going to come back, vamp for a little bit, just to give him a little more time to get here. And then we'll replay that interview we had with Miss Amy McVeigh-Tejas and the folks from Southwestern Public Service, if they don't happen to stop by next on A Morning Without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keon at Carabelli Dental. Same-day smiles are what we do. My passion is helping patients chew, talk, and live with confidence. That's why I'm one of the few doctors in the U.S. who can create beautiful same-day smiles with the latest digital implant technology. This procedure is life-changing. Just ask Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been that voice that you've heard on the radio for most of my life, but I'm also a dad to 2 amazing kids. I've had a million reasons to smile, but in all my old pictures, I was never smiling. Truth is that life of improper care and being dealt a bad hand genetically left me practically with no teeth. It affected everything from the way I ate, the way I talked, and of course how I interacted with people. And that's where Dr. Keon and Carabelli stepped in. They eased my fears. They explained every step of the process in a way that I could understand, and they made me feel almost like I was part of the team. And now, I can't stop smiling. I have so much more confidence, and I love looking in the mirror now. I can't explain how much of a difference Dr. Keon's dental implant process made for me.
Our team can help you find your smile too. Come see us at Carabelli Dental, 575-622-4455.
Roswell Ford presents the 2nd annual Hometown Heroes Car Show and commemoration of 9/11. Saturday, September 10th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Wool Bowl in Roswell, with lots of different categories to choose from, including classic and muscle cars, lowriders and hot rods, best paint job, and so much more. Trophies awarded to first place in each category, with a $1,000 cash prize for best overall, and lots of great prizes, including a smart TV, an LGS gift card, furniture, car washes, and more. Enjoy jolly jumps, snow cones, music, and food. Best of all, it's free to spectate and only $25 to register your vehicle, with a portion of the proceeds to benefit the Tunnels to Towers Foundation. Register and get more info at roswellford.com. Sponsored by La Salsa, Decor of Carlsbad, LGS Guns and Ammo, Chaves County Heroes, 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, Suds Up, One Party Rentals, Piero 106.1 FM, CRM Discount Awards, National Furniture Liquidators, Keep Chaves County Beautiful, and Let's Play Entertainment. The 2nd annual Hometown Heroes Car Show, Saturday, September 10th at the Wool Bowl in Roswell.
When you think of home health care here in Roswell, what's the first thing that pops into your head? That's right, Frontier Medical. We've been doing it better than anyone else for over 20 years, from in-home nursing to physical therapy and so much more. Doctors and hospitals from Albuquerque to Lubbock and everywhere in between have been trusting their patients to us here at Frontier Medical. So when it's time to make a choice, remember Frontier Medical. 575-627-1112. Frontier Medical. Name to remember.
The 2022 season is underway, and this Friday night, your Roswell Coyotes hit the road for the first time, traveling to Santa Fe to take on the Demons. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM and KSBPTV.com will have every second of the game. Join Art Sandoval and Kelly McDonald for the pregame show beginning at 6:45 and kickoff at 7. Coyotes versus the Demons of Santa Fe. Friday night beginning at 6:45 on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM and online at KSBPTV.com. Southeastern New Mexico's sports authority, then, now, and always.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Goodyear Rubber Company researched and concluded that shoes wear out faster on the right foot than on the left. To fix this, just walk backwards for half the day. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 20 minutes after 8 o'clock, a morning without Mike Winters. We're going to give our guest just a few more minutes to come by. I know sometimes big brothers, big sisters, they got a lot going on, and maybe they just haven't graced us just yet with their presence. So we'll give them a few more minutes to stop by, but if not, we're going to rerun that interview with Miss Amy McVeigh-Tejas that we had yesterday. Hey, real quick, wanted to let you know that the 2022 Dragonfly Festival is coming up quick. September 10th and 11th. It's all going down at Bitter Lake National Wildlife Refuge, just north of Roswell. And those who know, it's IYKYK, if you've ever heard that phrase. If you know, you know. It's going to be a big, big event with the early bird tours happening on Saturday, September 10th, starting at 6:30 and running until 8:30. They're going to have the Dragonfly tours, the wildlife tours, the refuge birding tours, and those are always big. Plus, all kinds of great events happening right there at Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge, including a kids fishing pool, arts and crafts, scavenger hunt, the butterfly release event, and it's all going down there at Bitter Lake National Wildlife Refuge. And by the way, if you want to be a part of any of these events, or if you want more information about these events, you can call FW, or you can go to fws.gov/refuge/bitter_lake, or that's a lot of letters and numbers. You can just search for Friends of Bitter Lake on Google. You can look for that, or look for 2022 Dragonfly Festival on Google. That'll help too. Or call 575-625-4011. or 575-244-6256. Again, 575-625-4011 or 575-244-6256. 22 minutes after 8 o'clock. I'm going to guess that maybe big brothers, big sisters missed us. We'll catch them next time. So with that in mind, yesterday I was joined by Miss Amy McVeigh-Tejas and some representatives from Xcel Energy / Southwestern Public Service. They were the 2017 honorees for the Heritage Award recipients. And they just had a great conversation about the history of electricity, essentially, and how Roswell played a big part of that. So with that in mind, let's dive into that interview. Take it away, me. Joining us in 7 o'clock, joining us in studio, Miss Amy McVeigh-Tejas from the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico, and Mr. Mike McLeod from Xcel Energy, or Southeastern Public Service Company, Southwestern Public Service
Morning,
Company.
Mike.
And joining
Good
us
morning, Sean.
on the phone this morning, Mr. Wes Reeves, the media representative for Xcel Energy and Southwestern Public Service Company, coming to us from Amarillo, New Mexico. You with us, Wes?
I'm here.
Awesome. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing this morning?
Well, I'm doing great. I'm actually in Texas.
Yes, yeah, you're coming to us almost an hour in the future.
Yeah, almost to New Mexico, but not quite. So
yeah, you're Amarillo by morning, as they say.
Yeah, it's definitely so. Yeah, good morning. Glad to be here.
Hey, glad to have you. So we are coming up on a big event this Thursday, the celebration of 40 years of Historical Society honors and recipients, and we're just celebrating kind of a trip down memory lane. And you guys got the honor back in 2017, looks like, correct?
That's exactly right.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about Southwestern Public Service Company, how long you guys have been doing business, and kind of what you guys bring to the table.
Well, I don't know who you want to go first. Mike, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, sure. We were first incorporated in Roswell, 1910.
Really?
Actually started providing electric service in 1906.
Okay.
Primarily to an ice plant, and then it started growing from there, and it has morphed now into Southwestern Public Service, which encompasses all of southeastern New Mexico and majority of West Texas.
Sure.
The Amarillo area and surrounding Lubbock.
And that started in Roswell.
Started in Roswell.
That's amazing.
Yeah, first incorporated.
That's incredible. Yeah, just for that one company, for the ice plant, which down here, southeastern New Mexico, obviously, we thank you for your service.
You bet.
You guys are doing the Lord's work out there.
Well, it's been an honor to serve here. You know, it's a great place, and our company, they always refer to Roswell as sort of the founding location, even though since then we've merged with several other companies in Colorado and Minnesota. But the Southwestern Public Service portion, definitely the roots are deep in Roswell.
Absolutely. So, Wes, I understand that you're sort of the historian of Southwestern Public Service Company.
Well, you know, what happened was people started bringing me all their junk. I was a junk collector. So, yes, I'm definitely interested in history, but I wound up with a lot of the history and shared a lot of that several years back when we got this award with the Historical Society and learned some really interesting things. And, you know, Mike mentioned the ice plant, and really the way we made electricity in the beginning was with a single 24 kilowatt Edison direct current generator, which provided the first lighting in Roswell. So I kind of, Mike can correct me if I'm wrong on this on my math, but that was a lot of electricity, but today it would only power about 8 typical Roswell homes.
Sure.
But in 1904, it was enough to get Roswell started in the modern age, and so it all began there.
And that's astonishing to me because, I mean, just thinking about how the roots of electricity and how early it was, and yeah, that you guys were working with direct current and how things have just changed since then. You know, we've undergone so much change, and there's so much more power that's needed. Back in the day, I just feel like it was like 6 guys on an exercise bike just cranking it out for doing 12-hour shifts.
Pretty close to that, really, when you think about it. And you know, it's interesting too because each town in the area just had their own power plant and had their own power system. And the predecessor company there in Roswell linked Roswell down to, I believe, Artesia and on down to Carlsbad with a transmission line. So that's really what began creating a multi-city company, you know, before every town just made their own electricity. And that's kind of the origins of us kind of branching out, becoming a larger company, and then eventually they acquired a utility here in Amarillo and several properties there. So we became a multi-state utility by about 1925, and then at some point along the way, it was kind of a bone of contention. The headquarters migrated from Roswell to Amarillo. I've got some old news clippings, and there was a lot of concern about that.
That's the LeBron leaves Cleveland of Roswell.
Exactly. So there was a lot of anxiety about it, and it's just like today, there was kind of a game of who can give you the most, and I think Amarillo must have outbid Roswell at the time on some freebies. I'm not sure what it was, but we kind of wound up being based here with significant division operations still remaining in Roswell to this day.
Yeah, it's such a fascinating story because I was just thinking about it, sitting here thinking about it. You guys were a thing before New Mexico was a thing. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, New Mexico was incorporated in 1912. You guys started in 1904, essentially. So, I mean, that's
correct. You know, really
incredible.
The predecessor company was way back, and it actually failed at first. It was a guy named Maynard Gunsell, who was a Roswell guy, and he formed the first utility, and then it didn't work. It cost so much money, he went broke. So then a bank got a hold of it and renamed it the Roswell Electric Light Company, and that's really the origins of the company there.
Okay. That's fascinating. And the other thing you touched on, too, is we live in such a connected age. It's hard to wrap your head around the fact that even Roswell to Artesia to Carlsbad was so disconnected that even our electrical systems weren't on the same grid or weren't talking to each other. That's crazy to wrap your head around.
Yeah, and Mike really knows that territory well, so he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Trying to get from Roswell down to Carlsbad is quite a hike. So
it's really changed. Even just in the last 40 years, we've gone to large generating stations, more transmission lines. We used to have a power plant downtown Roswell that was decommissioned in the early 80s. Had a power plant in Carlsbad. Actually had a little hydro plant on the Pecos River in Carlsbad.
Really?
Yeah, there's still remnants of it there. So with the advent of high voltage transmission, we were able to build bigger, more efficient power plants and shut down older, smaller, inefficient ones and use transmission lines to tie everything together. So now we have this, multi-state, as Wes said, we're actually tied, interconnected with utilities all the way to the East Coast.
Really?
So we can buy and sell power. We can help each other with reliability. So
sure.
It's a very interesting grid now. Basically there's 3 grids in the United States: East Coast, West Coast, and Texas.
It's become like a commodity that you can literally trade and monetize and make work. It's amazing that this thing that started with just an ice company and some light bulbs is now a commodity.
Right.
Is now an asset. That's astonishing. Now, obviously, we're celebrating 40 years of Heritage Award recipients this Thursday at the event. It's going to be a drive-through walk down memory lane. It all starts at the Historical Society at 200 North Lee. I have a short presentation there. There'll be a video that you can watch later at ksvptv.com. And also, then the caravan will go to Pepper's Grill and Bar, where there's just a fantastic menu set up. It's too late to sign up, right?
It's not.
It's really
not.
If
you're listening, we are pushing it, and I think it's important for us to let me take a step back for just a minute.
Sure.
We're walking down memory lane. And my father gave most of his adult life to Excel and Southwestern Public Service Company. I will never underestimate the power of what they offer to us. But I think the segment that we have left out is their community involvement.
Oh, absolutely.
Excel is our family. Mm-hmm. I consider Mike McLeod family in many ways. But one thing that I don't hesitate to say is organizations like us wouldn't exist without them. They have been our lifelines. And at the darkest of times, Excel is there. Excel is there to help, whether it's light bulbs, whether it's helping with 4th grade school tours, whether it was me going to cooking school classes and doing things safely, whether it was Ready Kilowatt in my little pens and making us proud to conserve electricity. They've always been there. So as historical as they are bringing lights, I think they've made a name for themselves equally as humanitarians, helping us to do what we need to do and doing it with a smile.
Yeah,
and always offering whatever it is they want to help a little bit more any way they can. But it is not too late to celebrate all this.
I'm impressed that you guys are holding that so long.
So if somebody just found out today, we need the money just as much as Pepper does. And I think it's important for people to support local. Pepper's has been there since the beginning of these dinners, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, every
and
time.
I think Excel has
and
too.
always do a great job. Adam and Neil, my goodness, they always do.
So the food is more than worth it. The help, we could never ask and thank enough for all the help we get, but it's not too late. I talked to Adam. Thank you, Adam, and everybody at Pepper's. Call today, and we will make it happen. I would love to help them more, and we need the help. So we could never thank you enough. But after today, I have exhausted all efforts, and I don't think I can do much more.
I completely understand. You've given all. So,
but we can deliver. We can deliver, or you can pick up. So call to the museum today at 622-8333 for more efforts. Or if you just want to make a donation, you can log on to the website at RoswellMHistory.
Absolutely.
.org.
And you touched on something back there a moment ago that Excel, they really are a very humanitarian, in Southwestern Public Service, a very humanitarian company. They work a lot with communities. I have had nothing but Excel, like, free light bulbs, that I get like events for the last 5 years. Because you guys are always out handing out free light bulbs, but it's more than that. You guys have, just even over the past 2.5 years with the pandemic, easing restrictions and not cutting people off and just those little things that the Excel did. That spoke volumes. When other companies were just pulling the rug out from underneath people, you guys were there for communities.
That was a difficult time for everyone.
Absolutely.
So whatever we could do to help people sort of get through that. But, giving back to the community is a core value of Excel Energy, and it was of SPS. It's very important to us. We're only as strong as our communities are strong. And organizations like the Historical Society and Amy's hard work, it's hard not to. All Amy has to do is call, and she knows the answer is going to be yes. So she's just one of those that just goes above and beyond. The Historical Society is so important. A museum is so important to Roswell and Chaves County, preserving that history and not just preserving it, but communicating it, teaching it to younger people.
Yeah.
They do an amazing job. So it's an easy organization to support, for sure.
It's one of those things that you really hope that there's generations behind us that are going to keep it alive. I see a lot of promise in kids like Josiah and some of the kids that do like the CAPS program. I see a lot of promise in that. I feel confident that the Historical Society is going to be in good hands moving forward. For generations.
We certainly are honored to work with the CAPS program and even history clubs. I think that's so important. We talk about it a lot as Excel, and they're in every building in this town. We think that the history clubs and everything could be in this building. As a reminder, don't take it for granted. Yeah. Certainly conserve it if you can, but most importantly, be mindful. It's been here before New Mexico became a state, and we have to be thankful for that and partner with them. There's a lot we can do for them too. It's a mutual relationship.
Right. Sure. And you look at that list of the recipients way outside of SPS, some incredible families, organizations that have meant so much to this city and county. So
it really is, and I look forward. I think 106.5 for partnering with us. Those who are unaware, during this event and after the event, you can log on to 106.5. Yes. There will be a slideshow, and just I really want to encourage people to take a moment to look at every slide. We want to intentionally put every year on there and every name, and just don't take that for granted. Do your little homework and celebrate all these 40. And we're excited for the next 40. And every year, one of the hardest things we do is make these selections. Sure. Because there could probably be 100, so many names every year.
And I made the joke before. I feel like, and I understand that we're celebrating 40 years of recipients, but I kind of feel like it was a cop-out this year. Like, we don't want to pick one person, so we're just going to celebrate everybody.
Well, I hear it all the time when we've even contacted individuals or organizations like Excel or Southwestern Public Service Company. They have no idea who is in this past history. And then once you get it together, we're this family that I'm just excited. Absolutely. I'm excited that we are all family, but I'm excited for the future too.
And speaking of the future and moving forward, obviously, the Historical Society, we want that to be in good hands. So I'm curious, and Wes, feel free to jump in on this one as well. The future is bright, as they say, for Excel Energy. Obviously, we're exploring different kinds of alternative energy, but we're also kind of leaning on traditional forms of energy production. So where do you see XL and Southwestern Public Service moving forward? I mean, what are some of your plans moving forward?
Well, Mike can sure join in on this because he's the boots on the ground, but we're definitely moving toward a different type of future in terms of carbon-free sources, electric vehicles. A lot of things that seem kind of futuristic to us are really starting to come to pass, and we've launched our electric vehicle program in New Mexico, and Mike's been really hard at work on that. You'll begin to see car chargers, in-home charging. So it's really going to revolutionize how people think about electricity, and I wasn't sure I was going to live to see all this, but I think it's going to happen. So, Mike, you can add to that. I'm sure.
Yeah, no, you make a great point, and it's not all about renewables. That's an important part of the mix. No, and it's about carbon sequester on gas plants. It's about how to better operate our coal plants, for the end of their life. It's about how to best utilize electric vehicles, as Wes said. So we believe the answer is all the above. We are trying to take a very systematic approach, keep the cost as low as possible for our customers, high reliability, but work toward a carbon-free future that most everyone is aspiring to. And it's sort of all uncharted territory right now. I mean, you guys are kind of like, swashbuckling into the field of you don't know what's next and what you're That's a great point, and we expect that, and we publicly say this, that technology is going to have to help us along the way. We think there's got to be a lot of innovation in battery storage and carbon sequester and a lot of different areas, and so we're going to have help with technology to meet those goals. Absolutely.
What's interesting is our big energy companies like ExxonMobil out in southeast New Mexico, they're also working toward a sustainable future. And recently, we're buying gas or natural gas from them that we're using in our power plants that's been certified in a way that shows that they are taking steps to reduce emissions. So all these companies are working really hard at this, and we're really all in this together, and we'll get there together.
Absolutely. It's one of those things we're just kind of, walking in blind and hand in hand, we're going to make it work somehow. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited for this dinner. It's awesome to kind of look back at history and just looking at this list. I mean, just some of the names. The one that popped out to me instantly was John and Betty King, because when I started my career, they were still here in Roswell. And they were kind of the godfathers of radio. That's Roswell. True. And just some of these amazing names on this list. I mean, it's going to be a great chance to celebrate really the history of Roswell, and that's what we're excited about, and the history of southeastern New Mexico, and the food. Oh, that's always awesome. I mean, that sounds amazing. Absolutely.
You're making me hungry. Mike always takes me to Peppers every time I come. In fact, I'm long overdue for a trip.
I was going to say we got to get Wes down here and get him in studio with you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, they bring the heat every single time with the menu at Peppers, but this one they're pulling out all the stops. It's $100 for a dinner for two. That's gonna be 2 people, and then it's $500 for the table of 8. That also includes the swag bags, the centerpiece, as well as for the $500 that includes delivery. If need be. But delivery is also available in the Roswell area for an additional $10. And again, all the proceeds go to benefit the Historical Society and keeping the doors open, keeping the lights on, and making it work for them. That's what it's all about.
We are just thankful to everybody that's made it happen. And we talking about XL in the future, we look to our future too. We're excited, and we know that none of us are going anywhere. We're going to work together and do great things, and we could never thank XL enough for the support we've had in the past.
Absolutely. It's funny. I've entered that generation where, because when I was a kid, my parents used to take me where they grew up, and they'd point out stuff. And they'd be like, well, that used to be the tire store over there. We used to hang out at that place. It was a gas station. And I'd be like, okay, Dad, all right. Literally, I was driving around with my kids the other day, and I went, that used to be a Tasty Freeze. And I instantly had that moment of like, oh no,
we're becoming our parents.
But it's true. As you enter new generations, new eras of life, it's important to kind of keep that eye and that memory on history. I'm part of the Remembering Roswell Facebook page. It's amazing to me some of the stuff that they remind me that there used to be a block-wide department store here in downtown Roswell. Just some of the stuff that a bygone era.
And that's what the Historical Society is doing, is they're capturing that, and they're putting that on a pedestal in a place where it needs to be and revered. And it's awesome work.
You bring up a good point during COVID, and even at the hardest of times, there was never a time you couldn't get in your vehicle and take a trip down memory lane.
That's right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I really believe that, I always say history helps us understand our present a lot more. And I think a lot of anxiety that we have in the world is we think we're flying blind, and we're not. All we've got to know is know our history and see that all these folks, they got through it, and they figured it out. And I think that really helps people. So it's beyond just fun. I think it's very important to how we live, to know our history.
You're absolutely right. It's something that needs to be paid attention to, because if paid attention to properly, there really is a roadmap for what we're supposed to do for the next steps that we need to take.
It may have different words and terms and different technology, but it's, humanity is kind of the same.
And that's
and has been
that's
for many
the
years.
key to moving forward too, is taking that and also applying, the technology we have today, some of the resources we have today, and kind of synergizing the two things to make them work, together.
Right.
So, well, I'm very excited. So this is the final day. Get your RSVP in now. If this is the first you're hearing about it, first of all, welcome to the world of radio. Secondly, because we've been talking about this for a long time, but this is the last day. If folks want to RSVP, how do they reach out to you?
Best scenario is call the Society at 622-8333, or you can call me direct on my cell, 575-915-4471. Call to verbally affirm the reservation, and then you can go online to make that payment.
Absolutely. And again, 622-8333. Or if you want more information, it's roswellnmhistory.org, and that's all the info that you need to know. It's a fantastic menu. It's a fantastic event to celebrate 40 years of Heritage Award recipients, and really just to look to the future.
That's exactly right.
Keep our eyes on the horizon. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Anytime you guys are back in the area, of course, you have a parking spot here, basically. Anytime you guys are back in the area, come on back to us. And Wes, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate
you. Thank you, Wes.
Great to join you. Amy, good hearing from you. I wish I could see you, but just let's make it happen. So.
Absolutely. 622-8333, roswellnmhistory.org. Get your RSVP in quick. Mike, Amy, Wes, thank you guys so much for your time. We really appreciate having you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. 19 minutes.
Treasurer Charlotte Andrade also requested the waiver again this year. The county has suspended the late fees since about 2008, when it applies to accounts of $100 or less. And more than 4 grueling months and $300 million later, the federal government has declared the largest wildfire in New Mexico's recorded history now 100% contained. A notable milestone, but just another step in what local residents and officials say will be a long journey to recovery. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Linen can absorb up to 20 times its weight in moisture before it feels damp. Now, you don't have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom anymore. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. 15 minutes away from 9 o'clock. Let's get you up to date with the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Looks like that monsoon moisture will stay off to our west for a little while, so things look dry today. We will have a mix of sunshine and clouds and fairly comfortable daytime highs in the mid-80s. Overnight, partly cloudy and isolated thunderstorm possible, but rain chances are fairly low. We'll stay in the mid-60s, and then we're in the upper 80s with sunshine coming up on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. 69 degrees currently, 76% humidity with winds out of the northeast at around 3 miles an hour. Barometer is at 30.15 inches with a dew point of 61 degrees. Looking at 86 degrees for the high today. partly sunny skies, mix of clouds and sun. 86 winds out of the east, 5 miles an hour, partly cloudy, and 65 for the overnight low. Winds out of the east, 5 miles an hour, becoming west after midnight. Mostly sunny for your Thursday, 87 degrees for the high. Tell you what, these days they sound fantastic. I love the 80s. Both the decade and the temperature range. It's nice. Mostly clear, 67 for the overnight low on Thursday night. And for your Friday, sunny skies back up to 89 degrees. A little warmer into the weekend, but also a chance for some showers. 20% chance of rain on Saturday with 93 for the high. 20% chance of rain on Sunday as well, 93 for the high as well. And for Monday, a 20% chance showers, thunderstorms, 30% chance of rain for your Tuesday, and 90 degrees for the high. It's that perfect pocket of late summertime weather. 13 minutes away from 9 o'clock. Let's get you up to date with your Wall Street Business Report.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. The Internal Revenue Service announced Tuesday that it was conducting a comprehensive review of safety at its facilities. The climate, healthcare, and tax legislation signed into law by President Biden last week included $80 billion in funding for tax collection efforts, although Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen specifically directed the agency to not focus its attention on taxpayers with middle-class incomes. Misinformation spread rapidly online that the agents were going to crack down on taxpayers of all earnings levels. President Biden on Wednesday is set to announce his long-delayed move to forgive up to $10,000 in federal student loans for many Americans. Investigators say one of the drivers of a Brinks tractor-trailer was asleep inside the big rig parked near a remote Southern California rest stop earlier this summer when thieves broke a lock and stole millions of dollars worth of jewelry and gemstones. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
If your car breaks down, no need to cry, because there's always a pal nearby at Big O. At Big O Tires. Locally owned will get you in gear. That's because you've known us for years at Big O. And Big O Tires. Don't need to sweat any extra labor. You can always trust a good neighbor at Big O. At Big O Tires. The best service is part of our code. Need a cup of sugar? We're down the road at Big O. At Big O Tires.
Now through September 18th, buy 3, get 1 free on select sets of in-stock Nexen or Aspen GTAS tires with installation purchase. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Installation required, not valid with other offers. Eligibility may vary. Disposal fees extra and up to 10% shop fee based on non-discounted regular retail price, not to exceed $35 where permitted.
Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I know you've heard me say that you can trust Trustmark, but I want you to know what that looks like in real life. A few years ago, we installed a beautiful new roof for an older woman who was recently widowed. She was an artist and colors were really important to her. So when she said she didn't like the color of a brand new roof, we took that seriously. She had picked the color and signed off on it, but I just kept thinking, if she's going to walk into her house every day and be disappointed, then we're just going to redo it. So we did. We ripped that beautiful new roof off and replaced it with a slightly different color, and she was thrilled. Yes, it cost us quite a bit of money to make her happy, but I want you to know you can trust Trustmark to make it exactly right every time. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
This lot is sizzling hot. The Great Honda Sell-Off is on now at Roswell Honda with repos, surplus vehicles, rentals, and more, and they've all got to go. Get a 2013 Civic for just $299 a month, 2015 Chevy Sonic for just $229 a month, or a 2011 Hyundai Elantra for just $159 a month. Get AirPods and a free 12-pack just for stopping by, a grilling kit with a test drive, and a portable grill with purchase. And register to win a 3-burner gas grill to be given away August 27th at 1 p.m. The Great Honda Sell-Off on now at Roswell Honda, 2111 West 2nd. Coming to the Liberty Friday, August 26th. Don't miss an evening with Neil McCoy. And special guest, Austin Van. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 8. Tickets are on sale now. Get yours before they're gone. For info on how you can become a bona fide member, visit thelibertyinc.com. Don't miss an evening with Neil McCoy and special guest, Austin Van. Friday night, August 26th. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 8 at the Liberty in Roswell. Tickets are on sale now.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 1 in 3 snake bite victims is drunk. 1 in 5 is tattooed. Hold my beer and check this out. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. 9 minutes away from 9 o'clock on this Wednesday morning. Sean Smalls sitting in for Mixmaster Mike Winters on a morning without Mike Winters. He'll be back hopefully inside of your radios tomorrow. He's always inside of our hearts. I was going to say inside your radios and inside your hearts, but he's always in our hearts, in the subcockle area. In case you missed any portion of the program, you can always go back and check it out at ksvptv.com. After the show, young Roybert here will get the show nipped up in a la carte format. You can check out the interviews as you at your leisure on any of our social, Facebook, YouTube, any of those places.
I like how you combine the two. Young Roybert.
Young Roybert, yeah. Because we were trying to determine nicknames the other day. Because Tanner's is hard R. Roy. The only thing we figured out for Roy was Roybert, Young Roy, and then the other one we came up with the other morning was Raw Egg Roy, which I think is fun because it harkens back. Of course, then again, I would hate to be known as Dog Food Smalls.
Yeah.
Like known as like the first big on-air stunt I did. Because first thing I ever did on the radio was ate dog food.
Wow.
That was a fun day. I've told that story before on the show, but basically...
at least it wasn't cat food.
No, cat food, there's no way, dude. Cat food is disgusting. I have cats. I feed cats, and wet cat food is the grossest thing on the planet. Actually, there's a dry cat food that is disgusting, but they love it. It's the Nutrish, the Rachel Ray brand. It's the salmon and whitefish version or whatever, but it smells fishy. Like it, so it lets me know it's natural ingredients, I guess, but it smells fishy. They love it, but every time I feed them in the morning, it's like, greets my olfactories with just a blast of, low tide at the pier, essentially. But
I noticed that every time when Mike is gone, that's when the guests, we only get like maybe one guest a day.
Well, they know. It's like we're not getting the Mike Winters experience. We got to deal with Sean. So, by the way, coming up next hour, speaking of, we're going to be joined by Big Brothers Big Sisters. We were going to have them on this hour. Things didn't work out, but they did reschedule, so we'll have them. We'll chit chat with them and sit down with them next hour and see what's going on in the world of Big Brothers Big Sisters of southeastern New Mexico. But yeah, the first radio stunt I ever did on the radio, it was Dick Van Patten had teamed up with a pet food company, and they started making this dog food. It came in rolls. It was looked like sausage rolls. You can get it at pet food stores. I think they still sell it to this day, but I think it's called Natural Balance. Matter of fact. Anyways, the whole gimmick was it had quality ingredients, and it was so good that humans could eat it. And the commercial was, I think Dick Van Patten actually, it was like a magazine thing. He ate some of the dog food. So my argument was, I'm pretty sure that all dog food is is consumable, right? I would assume, because we're not giving our animals stuff that we can't eat, right? So I was called to the carpet, if you will, on my claims. The next day I came to work, and there was a bowl that was labeled had Shorty written on the side, because Shorty Smalls was my radio name at the time. And it had a mixture of wet and dry food. Actually, I think it was a can of Alpo, and then I think they mixed in like some dry food. It wasn't bad. Okay, it just wasn't. It didn't taste like anything. It was so bland.
Okay.
Like, I understand that dogs don't have can't taste flavors like we do, but yeah, it was so bland. That was actually the worst part of the whole thing. That, and I had to eat it I couldn't use my hands. I had to eat it like a dog. Yeah, I was a real whore back in the day when I first started radio. I was really trying to make a name for myself. So I was stunt boy on the radio.
Well, no, I assume that dogs, they taste flavors harder than we do. That's why it's so bland.
No, I mean, because they have such a big sense of
that's why they can't have sweets, because they'll have a seizure.
It might just overdose them or something, because their sense of smell is so good that when they taste something delicious, to them it's got to just be extra delicious.
Their taste buds haven't been ruined like ours have.
Haven't been just scarred over the years. Of course, mine are probably scarred by mostly just like really, really hot food. Because I went through a period when I went keto, I turned spice into my new sweet, because I couldn't have sweet stuff. I mean, I eventually figured out how I could with the glycemic index and a lot of sugar substitutes. But for the first go of it, I didn't have anything sweet, and so I replaced my sweet cravings with spicy cravings. Like
Yeah.
there was a period where I couldn't get it spicy enough. Most of the stuff that I ate, like because when I was on keto, I was also pretty heartburn free. Like I didn't get heartburn like I do now or did back then, and so I almost threw caution to the wind and was like, I'm just going to eat it as spicy as I can. I used to make this stuff called crack slaw, and it's basically like coleslaw that you kind of cook down with some meat and stuff. But anyways, I used to use like all the spicy stuff I could possibly put into this. Red pepper flakes, as much hot sauce as I can get my hands on, just because it's relatively calorie, neutral, and it makes things taste good. So yeah, I got real into spicy stuff for a long time.
You ever watch the show Fringe?
Fringe.
It was like a weird old show. I mean, it's not old, but it is.
I've never seen it.
It's like late 2000s.
Okay.
And I also heard this on Clyde Lewis last night. But there was like, so it's like these people from the future, and in the future, I think they traveled to the future.
Okay.
No.
Have you ever seen the show Fringe? Is my question, because it sounds like you don't know about this show.
I guess the people in the future, the food is so bland now that they have to put Tabasco sauce on everything just to give it flavor. So I feel like that's our future.
That's our now. There's really not a lot of actual flavor out there in food. I went through a period where I carried a bottle of Cholula and just put that stuff on everything. Cholula was Valentino was my brand of choice for a long time, because you can get like a gallon of the stuff for $1.85. But eventually my taste buds graduated to Cholula.
I love Cholula, but that's not my go-to.
No,
I don't think I don't know.
I get called out for weird stuff. Like, I grew up in the South, and in the South, it was kind of a known thing that when you eat eggs, scrambled eggs, you put ketchup on them.
Yeah.
As a kid, I put ketchup on my eggs. My kids do the same thing now.
Yeah.
But all my friends, most of my family now think I'm disgusting because I can still tolerate ketchup on eggs.
I could never do that.
It makes it better now. I do hot sauce now. I just douse my scrambled eggs in hot sauce. But
on scrambled eggs, I can understand. But
not on like
on a sunny side up plasticky egg where it's just it's gonna fall off anyways.
No, I'm not gonna put ketchup on that. But I'm talking about like on scrambled eggs.
Yeah,
that's ketchup acceptable, I think. But yeah, on a sunny side up / over easy egg, put a little hot sauce on there. But that's pretty much all I'm gonna put on there. So we gotta go. We're closing in on 9 o'clock on that riveting note. Stay tuned next hour. We'll be chit chatting with the folks from Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southeastern New Mexico. They'll be for sure joining us in the next hour. And we'll talk about all the stuff going on with them as we gear up for back to school season, the fall time, and everything ahead. That's next hour on A Morning Without Mike Winters on 106.5 KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. Stay tuned.
Your home for Sean Hannity in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. It's a move that's drawing fire from the left and the right. President Biden reportedly set to announce a transfer of some student loan debt from those who actually took out the loans to the rest of us. Liberals, though, complain it's not enough, while conservatives argue it's too much and may be unconstitutional.
According to 3 people familiar with the president's plan, many Americans could see federal student loans up to $10,000 forgiven and a pause on payments to January. Biden has faced pressure from liberals to provide broader relief to hard-hit borrowers, but moderates and Republicans question the fairness of any widespread forgiveness. The plan would likely eliminate student debt entirely for millions of Americans and wipe away at least half for millions more.
That's correspondent Norman Hall. A Republican-turned-Democrat, Florida Congressman Charlie Crist will face incumbent GOP Governor Ron DeSantis in the fall. Crist winning yesterday's Democrat primary in Florida. Also in the Sunshine State, Democrat Congresswoman Val Demings easily winning the Democrat nod to challenge Republican Senator Marco Rubio. New York City, Jerry Nadler defeating Carolyn Maloney in a congressional primary that featured 2 powerful House committee chairs competing for the same seat. More U.S. taxpayer dollars heading overseas.
The Biden administration is expected to announce today the United States will be sending roughly $3 billion in additional aid to Ukraine to help train and equip Ukrainian forces for years to come. Officials tell the Associated Press the package will fund contracts for as many as 3 types of drones, in addition to other weapons, ammunition, and equipment that might not reach the battlefront for a year or 2.
That's correspondent Mike Gracia. Watching Wall Street, stocks in positive territory now, with the Dow up 43 points, the Nasdaq ahead 58, and the S&P trading 9 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshares. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, well, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sounds crazy, right? Well, the crazy thing is this never ends. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare, you'll pay nothing.
Were you lied to when buying a timeshare and want out? Get the facts about timeshare cancellation. Call Wesley now for your free information kit. 800-909-4747. 800-909-4747. 800-909-4747.
In India, a wealthy businessman launching a hostile takeover bid for the country's prominent broadcaster NDTV.
Billionaire tycoon Gautam Adani has taken an indirect control of over 29% stake in NDTV and has offered to purchase another 26% stake through an open offer. But it is turning into a hostile takeover, as NDTV claims the stake acquisition was executed without conversation or consent of the company's founders. NDTV operates 3 news channels and has a strong online presence. It is regarded as one of the few media groups that often takes a critical view of the government policies. Adani's bid for NDTV has also drawn attention because the business tycoon is seen as being close to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the BJP-led ruling party.
And that is BBC correspondent Achana Shukla reporting from India. News and analysis at townhall.com. The Uvalde, Texas School District expected to decide today whether to fire its police chief several months after the Robb Elementary School massacre.
Uvalde Police Chief Pete Arredondo has come under heavy criticism after dozens of police officers with bulletproof shields and high-powered rifles waited more than an hour at the scene before finally confronting the gunman in a classroom of 4th graders. State police and an investigative report criticized Arredondo for failing to take charge of the scene and not breaching the classroom sooner. Arredondo has been on administrative leave since June, but parents of the victims and other members of the community have been pressing for his firing. I'm Donna Warder.
Nearly a month after deadly flooding engulfed their houses, some eastern Kentuckians sheltering at state parks continue wrestling with the same life-defining question, whether to rebuild at the place they call home or start over somewhere else. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel witch and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3
Tres Inviernos
of A Morning Without Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Wednesday, happy halfway day, happy hump day, whatever you want to call it day. Middle of the road, middle of your work week.
You know, I actually like Mondays.
You like Mondays?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. It's just...
No, I mean, I understand. Okay, in fairness, when I'm starting a work week doing something I love, that does make a difference. I agree with you 100%.
It's Wednesdays that are like, you know, that's the middle part.
Right.
That's when you're in it.
That's the low.
Yeah. It's when you start it, you're like, yeah, I'm already rested. I can start this.
I've also kind of enjoyed my 2 days off, and now I have to go do a thing again. That's the thing. But then again, even half the time I only have 1 day off because I'm doing a thing for radio on Saturdays, usually with remotes and stuff. But the problem with what we do and Wednesday is every day we go through the work week, we get closer and closer to what we call during the football season crunch time, where we have to make magic happen again every single Friday.
Okay.
You know, so like today we have no games, so that's great. So it's kind of a day off for all the technical hullabaloo, but it's also a day for us to gather a bunch of that stuff up. We're getting, you know, all the interviews, all the coaches stuff, player reviews, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Tanner scrambles around to get all that stuff done today. So does Gene. It gets a little hectic in the football season during radio or here in radio. But with what I do for a living, producing, you know, commercials, doing morning radio, I enjoy it. It's not a problem for me to get out of bed in the morning knowing I get to come here and talk to people I like. You know, that makes me happy. So there's that. That does.
I guess I just like the days where you have to do stuff.
Sure.
Rather than like the Tuesdays and the Wednesdays where you have them off and you're like, should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? It's a very, you know, that's more frustrating than just, okay, I have to do here and that's it.
By the way, if you're going to drop that chair, pick it back up before you leave. It was very painful the other day. I sat down in what is usually my chair, and I dropped. I was expecting for Keister to hit chair before it did, and when that happens, I had an unexpected thought I was going to fall, and yeah.
Yeah, I remember like oh my God, right!
Like, yeah, it's scary when your bottom is expecting to hit a chair surface at a certain time and it doesn't happen. The whole world has dropped out from behind you. You don't know what's next. That's terrifying. Falling backwards is just not
yeah, the pulling the chair from the thing prank is worse.
That's the cruelest thing on the planet.
It's worse than it seems. Like in the cartoons, you're like, oh, it's not that bad, but
you're messing up somebody's whole day. That could break their coccyx. You know. The other one that's I don't think you should do now. I've seen this a lot in like the British stuff and a lot of the European stuff is when you trick people into thinking they're walking over some leaves and it ends up being like this giant pool of water.
Yeah.
It's like you just destroyed their phone. Guaranteed. Whatever electronic devices they had in their pocket, you just wrecked them. It's cruel beyond its necessity to be. By the way, real quick, I did want to mention for those football fans out there in the Pecos Valley, we've got you covered this Friday for on all of our stations for football action. Actually, literally all of our stations are going to have football this Friday because here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, we'll have our Coyotes who are traveling up to Santa Fe to take on Santa Fe High. That's going to be happening Friday night, pregame 6:45, kickoff at 7, and that'll be happening here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Hopefully we're working on trying to get the video on KSVPTV.com. If not, we'll have the audio on KSVPTV.com. Over on our sister station, Fierro 106.1 or 106.1, your Goddard Rockets are going to be taking on Carlsbad at home here at the Wool Bowl this week. That game again, pregame 6:45, kickoff at 7. The Chris's will have that game for you from the Wool Bowl. And then over on our sister station, AM 990 and 93.7 FM KSVP, your Artesia Bulldogs traveling to Hobbs take on the Eagles. That game, pregame 6:30, kickoff at 7. And then on our sister station, 92.9 The Brand, your Dallas Cowboys playing in their final preseason game against, I believe, the Seattle Seahawks. That game is pregame at 6, kickoff at 7 on The Brand. So yeah, this Friday, got you covered for all of your football action. And that, by the way, all off the top of my head. So kind of feeling like Rain Man right about now. Feeling pretty good about myself. 11 minutes after 9 o'clock.
11 minutes to Waffner.
11 minutes to Waffner. Let's take a quick pause and get you up to date with the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Looks like that monsoon moisture will stay off to our west for a little while, so things look dry today. We will have a mix of sunshine and clouds and fairly comfortable daytime highs in the mid-80s. Overnight, partly cloudy and isolated thunderstorm possible, but rain chances are fairly low. We'll stay in the mid-60s, and then we're in the upper 80s with sunshine coming up on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 72 degrees around Roswell Way. Humidity at 68%. Winds are calm. Barometer at 30.16 with a dew point of 61 degrees. Looking at partly sunny skies. A high of around 86 today. Winds out of the east at around 5 miles an hour. For tonight, partly cloudy. A low of 65 for the overnight low. And again, winds out of the east 5 to 10 miles an hour. For Thursday, mostly sunny. 87 for the high. Winds westbound 5 miles an hour Thursday night. Mostly clear. 67 for the overnight low. Back up to 89 for the high on Friday. Partly cloudy and 68 for your Friday night. 20% chance of showers pretty much all weekend. Staying in the low 90s. 92 for your Saturday and Sunday. And 94 for the high on Monday. But then back down to 90 with a 30% chance of rain for your Tuesday. Hey, real quickly, I wanted to let you know that All About Spas and Leisure Living, they are currently looking for a full-time sales associate to be part of the team at their showroom at 3700 North Main right here in Roswell. Do you enjoy working with people? Are you energetic, motivated, and driven? Well, if that's you, you need to come by. Apply in person. Come to the All About Spas showroom across from Discount Tire in Roswell and fill out an application. It's base pay guaranteed plus commissions. Now, prior sales experience is helpful, but it's not necessary. They offer mentoring, training, and will invest in your success. Apply in person and be a part of the team at All About Spas, 3700 North Main, across from Discount Tire. Stop by and apply if you want to be a part of the team. All About Spas is an equal opportunity employer. 13 minutes after 9 o'clock. I'm going to pause, pay a couple of these bills, and after these, we're sitting down with Miss Kim Diesendorf from Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southeastern New Mexico and seeing what's going on in their neck of the woods on a morning without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
Well, the biting bugs and the ferocious flyers are out in force, and if you don't take care of them now, you'll be swatting and scratching all summer. Makes me itchy just thinking about it. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Whether it's keeping the fleas and ticks off your animals or keeping the flies and mosquitoes away from your barbecue, you gotta use the right stuff, and you gotta do it at the right time. So come see us now at Roswell Seed Company, and don't let the bugs tick you off. Get it? Tick.
Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing here, and I can tell you it's not always easy being a female in a male-dominated business like roofing. I remember one time I was at a meeting to bid on the roof for a local college, and it was me and 13 men. Well, I won that bid, and I'd like to win your business too. My dad was a contractor, and I've been around building and roofing my whole life. I'm licensed and bonded, and I've forgotten more about roofing than most roofers ever knew in the first place. But what really sets Trustmark apart is an obsessive attention to detail that ensures that everything goes smoothly the first time. I promise we will treat you right with respect and we will make you happy. So yeah, it might be a bit odd for a woman to own a roofing company, but give us a try. Let us give you an estimate for your roof. I think you'll be glad you called. For all your roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keanu Carabelli Dental. Same-day smiles are what we do. My passion is helping patients chew, talk, and live with confidence. That's why I'm one of the few doctors in the U.S. who can create beautiful same-day smiles with the latest digital implant technology. This procedure is life-changing. Just ask Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been that voice that you've heard on the radio for most of my life, but I'm also a dad to two amazing kids. I've had a million reasons to smile, but in all my old pictures, I was never smiling. Truth is that life of improper care and being dealt a bad hand genetically left me practically with no teeth. It affected everything from the way I ate, the way I talked, and of course how I interacted with people. And that's where Dr. Keon and Carabelli stepped in. They eased my fears. They explained every step of the process in a way that I could understand, and they made me feel almost like I was part of the team. And now, I can't stop smiling. I have so much more confidence, and I love looking in the mirror now. I can't explain how much of a difference Dr. Keon's dental implant process made for me.
Our team can help you find your smile too. Come see us at Carabelli Dental, 575-622-4455.
Here at the Tailgate Nation, we try to make our service department as friendly and convenient as possible. But sometimes you're just too busy to bring your vehicle in for the service it needs. So your friends at Roswell Ford have come up with a revolutionary new idea, mobile service. Instead of you bringing your vehicle to us, we'll come to you. That's right, the Roswell Ford mobile service crew can take care of routine maintenance and light repairs at your home, office, place of business, or just about anywhere your vehicle is. We can change your oil and filter, rotate your tires, replace your battery, change your windshield wipers, do a complete multi-point inspection, and more. Right in your own driveway or parking lot. And these are Ford factory-trained technicians who'll bring the right equipment, tools, and parts to get the job done correctly without interrupting your busy day. So how cool is that? Mobile service. Kind of makes you wonder why nobody thought of it before. Call the Roswell Ford Service Department to make an appointment. Then just sit back and relax.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The first toilet being flushed in a motion picture was in the movie Psycho. Mike thought it was Gone with the Wind. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 17 minutes after 9 o'clock. Sean Smalls filling in for Mixmaster Mike Winters. He should be back inside your radios tomorrow morning. Joining us in studio from Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southeastern New Mexico is Kim at Diesendorf. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Good to hear it. Good to hear it. So it's been a trying month or so for you. You were telling us off the air that you've been battling the Rona.
Yeah.
And kind of the symptoms of long COVID, as they call it, kind of the brain fog and stuff. That's what a bummer.
Yeah, it really is.
You forget that. I think we've moved to a point where it's like we're not post-COVID by any stretch of the imagination, but we're far enough removed from it that it's now kind of surprising when you hear that somebody close to you got it again.
Yeah.
Wait, still?
Well, and it was my first time having it. I'm like, how did I get through, 2.5 years and never got it?
Right.
And then
I've wondered. There's several times I've been like, was that it? Did I have it? Was that just like a sinus thing? Or because I've known people that literally they just are getting off their third or fourth go round with it. I'm like, and you're vaccinated,
right?
Okay. All right. But luckily we managed to Weasley in here this morning. We've you got plenty to talk about. Big Brothers Big Sisters heading into the fall time season. And it's the busy season for you guys, too.
It is. School's starting back and everything. And that's, COVID, all the lockdowns and shutdowns and everything just really just decimated our programs.
Sure.
And so we have been super busy remaking those contacts, talking to people. And so I think we're going to have a big program starting up really soon. I can't give away details just yet, until everyth's been finalized.
Sure.
But I wanted to let everybody know that we have been working our tails off, and we've had meetings. We've got a lot of great things coming up, and I think probably next month when I come back and see you guys, I will have some really big announcements.
Okay.
But
I like the tease.
Yeah.
I like the tease. Well done.
Yeah, but I wanted everybody to know that we really have been working, and I think that our programs are going to be starting up very soon, stronger than they ever have been before. We've had some really productive meetings. So
and that's something a lot of people don't think about. How COVID affects different industries, different organizations, and Big Brothers Big Sisters. The whole point of the organization is people coming together at a time when we're supposed to be socially distant.
Right.
It had to have impacted you guys sure, you can have a Zoom meeting for between a big and a little, but there's only so far that can go.
Right. And that was part of the problem. Like, we had existing matches, obviously, and they moved to online, Zoom meetings and things like that. But the lockdowns, the shutdowns, the closings of the schools just effectively made it to where we could not continue a lot of the programs that we had, because we had a lot of programs in the schools, and then even when the schools opened back up, for the longest time, there were all the different COVID protocols and all of that with the social distancing and this and that, where we even though the kids were in school, we couldn't get into the schools. And then us being more or less absent, as far as active programs that we were able to do, it was very difficult for us to grow even our community based, where it's just, a kid and an adult out in the community.
And you were struggling even before COVID to find bigs.
Right.
I mean, it's always been a consistent struggle
Yes.
to get enough bigs for the littles that we have.
Yes.
And then COVID comes and that has to put an even bigger damper on things.
Right, because we had, I think a lot of people were concerned, and that is starting to pick back up too. So, thank you, Roswell, for that.
I think that maybe it's Roswell that I'm seeing on a small scale, but I think on a bigger scale nationwide, people are more apt to want to do stuff now.
Right.
It's almost like we don't want to take things for granted that we took for granted before.
Right.
So I feel like we're going to see maybe an influx of bigs
Yes.
in the coming months.
Yes, because we still desperately need them. We still have kids on the waiting list, and so, but we're able to do the in-person interviews now. We're able to do all of the things. All the restrictions basically have been lifted now for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months or whatever. And so we've got people that are calling now wanting to volunteer, and so that's a wonderful thing, and we're starting to see that side of it really uptick. So, but we still need more people.
It's such a weird thing. You just hit something in my head. It's such a weird thing when you say that we're kind of for about 5 or 6 months been into this new. I hate saying the phrase "new normal," but this new normal, and then literally just within the last couple of years, I distinctly remember lines outside of Walmart. It's like, what a weird time that we lived through and that we all collectively went through. It's just so mind bending that was a thing that we all did.
Yeah.
And now we're on this other side of it. And yeah, people are, I think, more eager to do stuff, to reach out, to help out, to be more decent people, I think. We're seeing the world crumbling around us and we're like, all right, we got to do something about it. We got to be proactive because nobody's going to do it for us.
Yeah.
Or at least that's my hope.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we still need people. You guys can call us at our office. It is 575-627-2227. Or our website, and it is bbbssenm.org, or you can just Google Big Brothers Big Sisters Roswell or Travis County or southeastern New Mexico.
It's a complicated website, but it's a lot easier to remember than you think. If it's just Big Brothers Big Sisters Southeast New Mexico, BBBSSENM.org.
Yep, just that acronym.
It helps. It helps a lot. So let's talk about the process itself. For those who aren't familiar with what goes on or what goes into the process, if they're sitting there listening saying, I want to help out. I got some extra time. I could impact a kid's life. I could help out. What's the process?
So basically, you start with an application, and we have to do a background check because child safety is our number one concern.
Absolutely.
And so you do a background check, and we run references and all that, and then we do an interview with you. Now the interview is rather lengthy. It takes about an hour and a half, and it's very in depth. But the whole point of the interview is to find out a lot about you, and kind of what makes you tick, how you view relationships and what your interests are and what what your hobbies are and what things like that. And they use that information to find a child that you would be most apt to connect with well.
Gotcha. And I imagine that the system, the algorithm that you guys use to kind of go through the questioning process and the way that's processed, I imagine that's incredibly intricate. You guys have had to have done a lot of research, or folks before you have done a lot of research to know exactly which questions to ask, what subjects to cover, and that it really weeds out a lot of the issues. Because if you're like an avid painter, you might not get as along with somebody who's like say a skater kid or something along those lines. So you want to find relationships that make sense.
Right. And like I said, it's what kind of interests you have and what hobbies and things like that. But a lot of it too is also relational, like how do you view this or that relationship in your life? What, things like that. I mean, it's a lot of it is pretty personal and pretty detailed. Right. But it really is, it comes down to kind of personality, right? And for us to know what kinds of things that you have to offer. So like if we have a little that is super shy, and maybe one of our goals for that little is to help them kind of come out of their shell. Absolutely. Then through this interview process, we can find the right type of person that would be a good fit for that child to help them come out of their shell.
I actually have a local story of somebody who I don't know if it was through the big program. I think it was my friend Marie. She had a friend who was kind of on the shy side, and anybody who knows Marie knows that ain't her.
Yeah.
She is outgoing as all get out.
Yeah.
So she kind of cracked this kid's shell and kind of brought her out a little bit, and now she's. I mean, this young kid is kind of everywhere. She's like a little spokesman for the community and stuff. And it's awesome to see that. It's awesome to see, a child kind of come out of their shell and come into their own and realize this is my personality. This is who I am, and shine with it.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
Yeah, and so like I said, the process takes a while.
Sure.
Background checks aren't necessarily instantaneous.
And I'd imagine yours goes a little deeper.
Oh, yes,
because
it is.
when you're putting grown adults with kids, there's absolute things that must be boxes that must be checked.
Correct. So, anybody that wants to sign up, I mean, we encourage all comers. Just understand that the process does. It's not, you can't like call and next week you'll be matched. It does take a while. It may be a couple of months even. And then that a lot of it depends on if we have a child that would be a good match for you or not. And so I just say that for people to understand, like, don't feel like, well, I'm just not going to do it then if it's going to take a long time. It's absolutely worth that time.
Right. Anything worth doing is worth putting time into. I've always believed. So if it's something that you are passionate about, something that you want to do, and the benefits, the values for you are just as much for the little. I mean, the sense of accomplishment and the pride and the respect that you build for your littles, it's an amazing thing.
Yep.
I've known bigs and littles that have gone on and been lifelong friends.
Yes, absolutely. That happens all the time, and it doesn't even matter what age they're matched at. We have some that have been matched since the little was 5 or 6 years old. And that went on to become lifelong friends. We have some that they were matched when the little was 12 or 13. And same thing.
It's so funny to me how arbitrary age is at our age. How like my best friends are like 6-7 years older than me. When you're a kid, hanging out with somebody in the next lower grade than you was unheard of.
Right.
And it becomes so arbitrary. So, a big and a little, they could be separated by 15, 20 years. In 20 years, that's going to make no difference. They're just grown people,
Yep.
And it's all arbitrary. But that bond and that relationship, that friendship started at such a young age. And that's something that is a foundation that's going to last for a lifetime.
Absolutely. And so once we go through the process and everything and get you ready and find a little that is a good fit, the only real requirement we have is that you spend at least 4 hours a month. You could say, I'm going to go spend an hour with them every Saturday. 1
hour a week. And that's a minimum. You don't just, all right, 4 hours, peace.
Right.
I mean, if you guys are having fun, hang out for a couple extra hours, and there's so much to do. If people don't think about, there's nothing to do around here. All right, fight me in a field. There's plenty to do around here. The recreation aquatic center, beautiful bike. Roswell has some of the best bike lanes of any small to mid-sized town I've ever lived in.
Right.
I mean, grab a bike and go for a ride.
Yeah, and we encourage our matches to do free or low cost things, and because it's about spending the time. And that's the whole thing. It's about spending the time listening to them, talking to them, interacting with them. And we have matches that will get together at the Big's house and bake cookies together.
Sure.
Or they'll go ride bikes together, or they do, because it's not about like, hey, I'm going to take them shopping and get them all this stuff, or
I'm going to take them out for a fancy meal, I'm going to take them to a movie.
Right. It's about spending just that quality time.
I was just thinking, I keep seeing them all over town, those little bird scooters. I mean, I pop $20 onto the Bird account. I've never used it. I'm not sure when I'm going to.
Yeah.
But I have the option. So it's like, throw some money on the Bird app, and then you and your little go for a scooter ride around Pioneer Plaza or whatever together. There's lots of options. Creativity is one of the best parts of hanging out with a little, because their minds, they're open for whatever. Their minds are a playground essentially, and they're ready for whatever game you want to bring.
Yep. Yeah, and they do. They'll get together and just play board games or do right.
You could establish a lifelong love for D&D in your little.
Yes.
You could be a dungeon master, and every week take them deeper and deeper into the dungeon or something. Later on, that kid becomes the DM for their group or something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring back a D&D, trying to make it a thing. But the options are endless. So if you want to be a part of this program, it's absolutely worthwhile. I encourage you to reach out. Again, Big Brothers Big Sisters Southeast, BBBSSENM.org, if you want to reach out. Now, I'm curious, do you find more kids coming to the program voluntarily, or do you find you get more kids through like recruitment in schools?
It's really about 50-50. Okay. We have, because of like you guys and advertising that we have around town, we have parents that will call us and say, I think my kid really could use this.
Sure.
But then we also we get them from the schools. Like school counselors will say, I know about you guys and I have this kid, and
Right.
And so it's really about half and half.
Okay.
Yep.
So once the kid comes and finds the program, for the most part, I've seen nothing but success out of the program. It's an awesome thing to be a part of. So
yes.
So going into the next phase, if you will, like you said, you can't really tell us much yet. But it sounds like you guys have some big things in the works.
Absolutely, we do, and I think it's going to be a really exciting time because, with all of the meetings that we've had, the contacts that we've made, and everything, I absolutely believe we are going to be back stronger than ever and bigger than ever very, very soon.
And we're going into a very busy season.
Yes.
We got fall time, we got football games happening, a lot of haunted house stuff's going to be happening, the fall festivals. Then, of course, the Christmas Railway. There's plenty of opportunities to hang out with your littles.
Yes.
You can't tell me that there's nothing to do in Roswell. You just got to be a little creative with it.
Yep.
I talked to a friend of mine who, and I didn't know this was a thing, they go hunting Pecos Valley diamonds.
Oh, wow.
Which I had never even heard of were a thing. But yeah, these like really pretty little gemstones that we have just kind of littering all over the Pecos Valley. Let's go out to the middle of nowhere and just start looking for them.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Geocaching. I have a friend who's super into geocaching, which you've never done that. There's like these little pretty painted rocks that you just find scattered around, different latitude, longitude locations. Those are always fun.
Yeah.
These are just little ideas, folks.
Yep.
But just whatever you do, as long as you're doing it together, you're nurturing a great relationship, you're building a foundation that's going to last a lifetime. So I encourage it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if folks want to help out the organization financially, they can do that as well, correct?
Correct. And that can be done. You can mail us in a check.
Okay.
Or you can go to our website. We have the set up on there to do credit or debit cards if you do that. And that system is really cool because you can even set up a recurring gift. So if you, and every little bit counts.
Absolutely.
Because when we all the background checks and all of that kind of stuff, that it takes money, and so but to pay the staff to do the interviews and to figure all that stuff out, and so even if you want to do like $20 a month, but you want to do it like recurring, you can set that up on our website.
BBBSSENM.org. They say on the radio to never ask a question you don't know the answer to, but you guys are under the United Way umbrella.
We are partnered with United Way. Yes.
I thought so. I wasn't sure. There's like 24 organizations they represent. I thought you guys were one.
We are.
So remember also, when you're helping out the United Way of Chaves County, a portion of that money does go towards Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Correct.
So you could pinpoint it when you're donating with the United Way.
Yes, you could designate it. If you donate to the United Way, you could designate it for us, and that comes to us. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's BBBSSENM.org. Give me the phone number one more time.
It is 575-627-2227.
2227. Super easy to remember. 627-2227.
Yes.
Reach out, folks. If you have any free time or any desire to be a part of this program, it's absolutely going to do as much for you as it's going to do for the little.
Absolutely.
It's going to build your self-confidence. It's going to make you feel, like more accomplished as a person. and just a better person. You're really having an impact on somebody's life, and nobody can take that away from you.
Yeah. And we have a lot of bigs that report back to us that, I got into this thinking, I'm going to help out a kid. I'm going to change the life of a kid. I'm going to make a difference in the life of a kid. And after being matched for a while, they were like, this has helped me more than I ever anticipated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They change you as much as you can have the opportunity to change them.
Yep.
Well, Kim, thank you so much for your time.
Alrighty.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
having you here.
All
We'll hopefully have you next month.
Yes.
Hopefully we set up a system where we get a hold of you guys beforehand to let you know, just to remind you.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely get something.
All right. I appreciate you.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
36 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's pause for a moment and get you up to date with some local news.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Carlsbad Caverns National Park remained closed to the public after last weekend's deluge of rain that resulted in more than 200 people being evacuated. Mayor Dale Janway said in his weekly letter that the park would remain closed until a safety assessment was completed. Most of the roads that were closed around the area have since reopened. Saturday night's band performance of Grupo Maldad will be rescheduled for a later date. Chavez County Commissioners accepting state appropriation money. On Thursday, the commissioners also approved a waiver of a $5 late fee for delinquent property taxes. Treasurer Charlotte Andrade also requested the waiver again this year. The county has suspended the late fee since about 2008 when it applies to accounts of $100 or less. And more than 4 grueling months and $300 million later, the federal government has declared the largest wildfire in New Mexico's recorded history now 100% contained. A notable milestone, but just another step in what local residents and officials say will be a long journey to recovery. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Your morning cup of Sean. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
New survey, America's business leaders find 97% of them agree America is either in a recession right now or soon will be in a recession. Vast majority of corporate executives bracing for a recession or think the U.S. economy is already in one. And the findings show that 18% of corporate execs, business owners, private equity, it's already contracted. How could you expect anything else but that? And none of it's good. Now, I've been telling you where this is all headed. I told you that Lauren Summers is actually saying we need unemployment at 10% for at least a year if we're going to get rid of the 40-year Biden high of inflation. I mean, could you imagine that? Or 5% for a number of years. He didn't give a specific number.
The Conservative Underground meets later today on the Sean Hannity Show.
The government just passed a law to right their wrong with the toxic water at Camp Lejeune. It's a complicated process. If you or someone you know was diagnosed with cancer or another serious condition due to toxic water exposure, call Dudley DeBosier. We understand the urgency. We're filing claims this week to make sure our government follows through with its promise to make this right. Don't get left out. Call Dudley DeBosier and let someone serve you for a change. For more information, visit ddhelps.com. ddhelps.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Elephants use these skin folds on their bodies to crush mosquitoes. Mike Winters uses his to hide M&Ms. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 39 minutes after 9 o'clock on this Wednesday morning. Let's pause, get you up to date with the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Looks like that monsoon moisture will stay off to our west for a little while, so things look dry today. We will have a mix of sunshine and clouds and fairly comfortable daytime highs in the mid-80s. Overnight, partly cloudy and isolated thunderstorm possible, but rain chances are fairly low. We'll stay in the mid-60s, and then we're in the upper 80s with sunshine coming up on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 72 degrees around Roswell. Humidity at 68%. Wind is calm at the moment with a barometer at 30.16 inches and a dew point of 61 degrees. Today, another beautiful, perfect day around Roswell Way. Sunny skies, mix of clouds and sun, 86 for the high, winds out of the east at around 5 miles an hour. For tonight, partly cloudy. It's going to dip down to about 65 for the overnight low. Winds out of the east at around 5 miles an hour. Those are going to become west after midnight. For your Thursday, mostly sunny. Again, 87 for the high. Winds at around 5 miles an hour. Pretty much the same thing for the next couple of days. But then by the weekend, it's back to warmness. 89 for the high on Friday with sunny skies, winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, but a 20% chance of rain on Saturday and on Sunday, Monday as well. 93 for the high on Saturday and Sunday, 94 for the high on Monday, and then back down to a mere 90 degrees for your high on Tuesday. But again, a 30% chance of rain, so that should cool things down, hopefully pretty significantly. Real quickly, wanted to remind you, and I know it's probably a little bit late to get signed up for it. I'm pretty sure that at this point, they have no more time to get you signed up. But tomorrow, it's all going down. A trip down memory lane, the drive-through fundraiser with the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico. That's going down tomorrow evening. Hopefully you got your RSVP. If not, well, maybe your friends who did, maybe they'll be nice enough to share with you. It's going down starting tomorrow evening, starting at 5:30 at the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico at 200 North Lee. There'll be a short presentation there. Then the drive-through or the drive-on happens down to Pepper's Grill and Bar at 500 North Main, the backside, the Bank of America side. That is where you'll be given your special dinner for two. Now, if you pay the $100, it serves 2 people. If you got the dinner bundle, that serves 10 people, so you get 5 of the following menu. And trust me, this all sounds absolutely amazing. It's going to start off with a shrimp appetizer for 2. Then you get 1 beef entree. It's braised beef tips, and a chicken entree, spinach and artichoke grilled chicken. That's all served with red new mashed potatoes, summer squash medley, rolls with butter, and a dessert for 2. Now, the dessert for 2, as I understand it, is brown sugar monkey bread. No, I'm sorry, chocolate chip monkey bread with a bourbon sauce, I believe, is what that is. I might be wrong on that, sort of, but I'm pretty sure it's some type of monkey bread with like a brown bourbon sauce, which sounds just fantastic. I'm salivating here because I actually have a dinner bundle waiting for me. I got informed yesterday. Miss Amy let me know that they have blessed me with a dinner bundle for myself and an as yet unnamed +1. So, ladies, if you want to share this dinner bundle with me, my dance card is open. But it's all going down tomorrow evening, beginning at 5:30. If you got your RSVP, you need to be at the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico at 5:30, and then swing on through to the Bank of America side, 500 North Main, the Peppers parking lot, to grab your food. Again, big thanks to the Historical Society. Now, if you want to help out the Historical Society, they will absolutely still take any and all donations that you can give, and any donations will be absolutely appreciated. We'll go to an amazing cause, keeping the lights on, keeping the door open, and keeping history alive here in southeastern New Mexico. All the great stuff that the Historical Society does, they definitely could use a little bit of help in the back end there. So if you can help out, please by all means do so. You can reach out to the Historical Society by calling the museum office at 575-622-8333, or you can go to their little place in cyberspace, which is roswellnmhistory.org. That's roswellnmhistory.org. If you can make any kind of donation, it would absolutely be appreciated. But if you did get a reservation or an RSVP, then make sure you get your bundle tomorrow. We don't want any of these dinner bundles to go to waste. It's such good food. And by the way, if there are any extra dinner bundles, just let me know. I'll take care of them. I have friends. 16 minutes away from 10 o'clock. Let's pause and get you up to date with the Chavez County Sports Report.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Had little boys soccer action yesterday, and this is a good match. Roswell defeats NMMI 1-0, and that was a home game for the Coyotes, who are now 2-0 on the season. They'll be playing in a tournament on Friday against Chaparral. Game starts at 2 o'clock. Meanwhile, we haven't talked much about NMMI so far this during the preseason. But remember, the Colts went all the way to the 3A state championship game last year before falling to Sandia Prep. And we're not sure if these guys are still on the roster. NMMI's roster changes more than most schools, but Humberto Valdez, Juan Ortiz, Alan Cordova were all state defenders last year as underclassmen, so they may be part of the mix. And judging by the low-scoring match last night, maybe they were. NMMI will be at Clovis next game next Tuesday. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Mixed open this morning on Wall Street, investors in a wait-and-see mode ahead of Friday's speech by Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. He'll be speaking at an annual symposium held by the Fed in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which has been the site of major market-moving speeches in the past. Volatility has returned to Wall Street following what had been a strong summer as worries rise about how aggressively the Fed will hike interest rates to knock down high inflation. Recent remarks from some Fed officials dashing hopes that the Fed may be somewhat less aggressive than feared. Tesla is splitting its stock 3-for-1. Investors will receive 2 additional Tesla shares for every one they owned as of a week ago. Tesla joins market heavyweights Amazon and Google's parent Alphabet in splitting their high-priced shares this year. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Find your path to a greater future at Eastern New Mexico University. With degrees offered both on campus and online, ENMU has the flexibility that you're looking for, and with the New Mexico Opportunity Scholarship, New Mexico residents can now start, continue, or finish their bachelor's degree tuition-free at ENMU. For more information, visit enmu.edu. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success, that's what we're about.
Pressure Services LLC in Artesia has immediate openings for experienced vacuum truck, kill truck, and hydrovac operators. Operators must hold a Class A CDL or Class D CDL, at least 2 years of experience, and be at least 25 years of age. All positions require a clean driving record and must be able to pass a DOT drug and alcohol screen. Pressure Services offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contributions toward health benefits. Please apply in person at 402 West Main in Artesia, inside the Age Safety Facility. Equal Opportunity Employer.
How do you make the most of your land? Shaw does it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1025R compact tractor, as he does everything to make
my yard look as beautiful as I possibly can.
But the Hubbards use their 1025R because
we really are trying to create this homestead.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. How will you make the most of yours? Nothing runs like a Deere.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia and Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
I have a snake for your drain. You might want to step back.
Oh no, baby.
All AC units moke a little. Is normal.
Oh no, baby.
Haha, now your sprinkler system's strong like bull.
Come on now. Don't let any fool work on your plumbing and air conditioning.
Fergalicious.
From clogged drains to sprinkler systems, Fergie's Plumbing and Heating is on the job. And who you gonna call for air filters and spring servicing on your AC unit?
Fergalicious.
Call Fergie's today, 622-2660. Nothing but love.
Fergalicious.
The season is underway for your Goddard Rockets, and this Friday night, your Rockets return to the Wool Bowl for their first home game of the season against the Cavemen of Carlsbad. Fiera 106.1 FM and KSVPTV.com will have every second of the action. Join Chris Deck and Chris Roybal for the pregame show beginning at 6:45 and kickoff at 7. Rockets versus the Cavemen of Carlsbad. Friday night beginning at 6:45 on Fiera 106.1 FM and online at KSVPTV.com. Southeastern New Mexico's sports authority, then, now, and always.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. U-Haul is the world's largest advertiser in the Yellow Pages. Too bad millennials don't know what the Yellow Pages are. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. I think we need to stop making millennials jokes and start making zennials jokes, because millennials, I think they're a lot more on the ball than we give them credit for.
Yeah.
I'm right on the cusp. I actually fall into this category called zennials.
Like millennials are 30 now.
Yeah.
Come on.
We're grown people. It's like let's knock that off. But yeah, I fall into this weird like subcategory of zennials, which is like right between Generation X and millennial. But I've always felt like I identify a lot more with the millennial side of things, just because I grew I was born in 84, but I didn't experience pop culture, TV, or at least not that I really genuinely remembered much until the 90s.
Yeah.
When the 90s came along, I remember a lot of stuff that happened.
I swear the definition of millennials used to mean like born in after the
it's like
they
say
around
1990
the year
and on,
2000s.
You're right.
And then they changed it to anyone born on 1980 or after.
Yeah, now it's Gen Z, I think is what they're calling it. We need to start making fun of Gen Z because millennials are grown-ups at this point. We're basically what Gen X used to be. So I think millennials, it's time for us to rise up and start mocking, the generation before us.
Yeah.
The Gen Z. They're the ones who deserve the mockery, I think, quite frankly. I've been watching this show on YouTube, and it's kind of interesting. It's called Knickknacks, and basically they, show by show, have these like long 30 to 45 minute breakdowns of every series that's ever aired on Nickelodeon.
Okay.
Like from like the Pinwheel era from like 1983 when it started to when June Claiborne took over in like the late 80s and started doing shows like Double Dare, Don't Just Sit There, and some of the shows that actually stood the test of time. And it's really kind of interesting to see kind of how the inner machinations of all this works. And then now that we're getting into the 90s shows and some of the stuff that I really genuinely remember, they just did this one. And I think I've talked about this before on the show, but about the cartoon special that aired on like every single channel in like 1990. I think it was 90 or 91. Like, I mean, all the network channels like ABC, CBS, Fox, and all those, but like also like across a ton of cable networks. And then it was also, they aired it in school, and it was the Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue. I'm pretty sure I've told you about this. It's where the two cartoon worlds, or all the cartoon worlds, come together to get this kid off of what appears to be some kind of drugs in a shoebox. But it's a laughable thing looking back, but it was absolutely fascinating to kind of see it all come together and to kind of hear how they managed to make it come together. Apparently, they would not allow, and this is the same thing with Roger Rabbit, Warner Brothers would not allow their characters to be used unless they had exactly the same amount of screen time as their Disney counterparts. Yeah. In other words, Bugs had to have the same amount of screen time as Mickey, and Daffy and Donald had to have the same amount of screen time, which is why you see them both playing piano in that one scene in the middle of Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Because they both have to have screen time.
That's cool.
Even though Touchstone was owned by Disney, so they are technically a Disney joint. But yeah, they had to have on for equal screen time. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
I just found out that Nickelback did a cover of The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah, I heard this a couple years ago.
And I was listening to that during the interview.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what do you think?
So it doesn't hold a candle to the original.
Nothing could hold a candle to Charlie Daniels, especially when you're talking about Nickelback.
Yeah.
Now we had the argument off the air that Nickelback doesn't deserve the hatred that they get.
That said, yeah.
Same time, they deserve a little.
I've just never heard a single song from them that I've hated.
Have you ever heard Animals?
Is that the one that sounds like...
We absolutely can't play it on the air, but it's the song where he talks about...
No, that's Maroon 5.
No. It's the song where he talks about just acting like we're animals. Basically, he's driving around with this girl, and then they go to a field and have really rough relations. I don't like it. I don't like the sound of it. It's a good song, I guess, but for like the people who like speed rock, but it's just not my jam.
Well, no, I found this one interesting because it's really like heavy metal, especially for even for Nickelback.
They can do rock. I mean, like I said, listen to the song Animals. That's kind of rock. It's not all look at this photograph.
But
look at this graph. But yeah, no. Go ahead and give us a couple bars if you have it handy.
What?
Play a little bit.
Oh,
if you have it handy, just put it up to the mic. This portion of Dead Air brought to you by Roy's inability
by my slow phone.
Okay, I understand. I have a phone like that too. I'm pretty sure it's clean. That's not a bad riff.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he's just...
I think what makes Nickelback is Chad Kroger's vocals more than...
Yeah, well, that is his dumb face, his poodle hair, and...
I think he cut.
Okay, you should probably cut it because I think this is the dirty version.
Yes.
Matter of fact.
Yes, there's a dirty.
There's one curse in there, but I think it's okay to say on. Well, so I'm not going to push it.
What was I going to say? Oh, but I did hear a song by them before this a few years ago, and it was completely pop. Like it sounded like Maroon 5.
They do a lot of crossover, I think.
And up to the point where everyone in the comment section was calling them Maroon 4.
Thomas Beard checking in. Nickelback sucks. Dude, like I said, I understand that they're not the greatest thing. We're not defending them by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't think they deserve the ire that they've gotten of being like the worst thing of all time.
No.
It's just...
No. I don't know. I'd say Pearl Jam is worse than Nickelback, but that's just me.
I would agree. You ever heard Pearl Jam live? He said, rest his head on a pillow made of concrete. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Pearl Jam.
But in that one song, the comment section was calling them Maroon 4 because they sounded like Maroon 5.
Wait, Nickelback?
Yeah, there's this one song.
What's the song? No, I mean, they've had a lot of ballads. Like Photograph was a pretty pop song. It was pretty pop-esque. But then at the same time, they're also a rock band. I mean, they have the ability to kind of... Nickelback is really progressive like that. They can cross over genres. No, they really can't. They don't know their sound is the thing.
Yeah, there's this...
I will say that Chad Kroeger did the world a favor by taking Avril Lavigne out of the picture for a while because she's scary. She scared me.
What did he have to do with her?
Oh, he married her. They were married for like 4 years.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. For a long time. I think they just divorced like 2 years ago, maybe something like that.
How did I not know that?
I know weird facts about bands, but
there's animals.
By the way, while Roy's looking up this info, I did want to let you know that if you missed any portion of the program today, you can always catch it in its entirety over at ksvptv.com. There, just click on the Mornings with Mike Winters tab, and you'll be treated to the show in its entirety. Once we're done, Big Roy here, Roybert, he'll piece the show up piecemeal and serve it up to you a la carte across our socials, the YouTubes, the Facebooks. You can catch those by searching for 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM across all of your socials. And yes, I just said across. By the way, if you missed any of last week's games, you can catch those at ksvptv.com as well for your Roswell Coyotes, Goddard Rockets, or Artesia Bulldogs. Just click on the appropriate tab, and you'll be treated to the games themselves. Did you find anything? Roy?
No.
Okay.
I can't.
Are you with me there? Come on, Roy.
Can I play animals?
No. No. That song would get us removed from the radio permanently, I'm pretty sure. It's filthy. That song is... Matter of fact, I'm just going to pull up the lyrics to the song Animals because we got a little time to kill, and I'll just read the lyrics. Bear with me here. I'm just going to search for Nickelback Animals lyrics, and I'll read the ones that I feel I can read on the radio.
She keeps me up.
I'm driving black on black. Just got my license back. I got this feeling in my veins. This train is coming off the track. I'll be polite. I'll ask polite if the devil needs a ride. I'm gonna stop doing it right there because the angel on my right ain't hanging out with me tonight. I'm driving past your house while you were sneaking out. I got the car door up so you can jump in on the run. Your mom don't know that you would be missing. She'd be mad if she could see the. I'm not gonna say that line. Nope, not going to finish that one. No, we're never going to quit. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Just acting like we're animals. No matter where we go, because everybody knows we're just a couple animals. Yeah, it's an okay song, but I get embarrassed when I'm listening to that song in the car with someone else. I'm like, it's awkward. Yeah. It's like the way they in the second verse, there's a lot of it I can't even say. It's hard to steer when you're breathing in my ear, but I got both hands on the wheel. Well, you got both hands. I'm not going to finish that line. So
it's called She Keeps Me Up.
This does sound like Maroon 5
from 2015.
I hope it's clean. So let's
maybe I don't know.
Maybe don't just jump in and play something on the radio if you don't know.
I'm done.
That's the general rule of thumb. That's all right because we got to wrap things up here. Big thanks to everybody for joining us on this here Wednesday morning. Don't worry, it'll get back to normal tomorrow. Mixmaster Mike will be back. Dad's back in the studio, so the kids will stop playing around like morons. Back to things the way they should be tomorrow morning on A Morning with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Till next time. Be seeing you.
The great one, Mark Levin, is now in Roswell.